All right, guys, thanks so much. Yeah, 2 o'clock. Let's get through to the close, the end of the week on the way. 2 hours to go in the trading session. It has been another day where we saw some strength come back into the market, and that got sold off once again, back towards session lows here, more than a full percent. In fact, for the S&P, I'll show you 1.1 now. In fact, for the S&P, the Dow 0.4. Once again, it's the NASDAQ leading the way to the downside. Very similar to yesterday, very similar to the day before. In fact, we saw that initial buying come in only to be sold off. Here we are in Toronto, down nearly 1.75% for the TSX. Yeah, it's an ugly day down here as well for cryptocurrencies. This slide continues. Ethereum now 10% to the downside on the day, 7.3 for Bitcoin. So one of those days, unfortunately. That's the way the board looks right now. Yeah, it's not pretty. Netflix 21% in negative territory off of earnings. Disney 6% riding its coattails back to the downside. There's Viacom, Twitter, Discovery, Dish, Take-Two as well, trying to offset a little bit, 2.3. Facebook, 2% to the downside. Materials, all pretty much in negative territory. We mentioned crude oil there. Also, the energy group outside of BKR, who reported to the downside. Healthcare stocks are lower. Moderna, 4.5 there to the downside, 4.5 as well over here for PayPal to the downside today. Software makers, the hardware makers, even some of the semiconductors. We are seeing some blue in here. Xilinx 3%, TXN and ADI all to the upside. It's banks that are leading. Yeah, pretty ugly day right across the board. I'll show you the NASDAQ here quickly just to get an idea of what's happening. Peloton bouncing back, obviously, after a tank we saw yesterday about this time. Xilinx 3% back to the upside. Micron's there. There's Tesla, Lucid, even the car makers to the downside today. So, yeah, negative way to wrap up the week. We'll jump into a little bit more on why and what to expect. Coming up next week, it's going to be a very interesting week next week. We have the Fed. We have Apple earnings. We have a ton more to get through as far as earnings are concerned. So lots to talk about next week as well. So glad you joined us once again for the last 2 hours of today, the last 2 hours of the week. We'll kick things off as we do all the time with a bit of a look back. If you joined us in the pre-market, we talked a little bit about what to expect at the open this morning and how we were going to go about trading some of those ideas. Neil's going to kick us off here with a look at, yeah, even crypto stocks getting hit today. Here comes Neil with a look at one of his trades.
Yeah, we're going to talk a little crypto, and with Coinbase is what we're going to describe today. And a lot of times the entry for a trade gets relatively simple. And this morning, of course, you had Netflix down a humongous percentage. It was down over 20%. And then you also had the losses extending into the crypto markets overnight. So pullbacks of around 8 to 10% across major cryptocurrencies. And then you go look at something like a Coinbase, and it was pretty easy to see. Like, obviously comes to market, has a great run to 400, and then settles back down. Now, the bottom here is right at 208 on the daily chart. So you're coming in, the all-time low is 208. You have the negative sentiment in the market as well. And it was as simple as having a 208 bottom already, just above 208 in the pre-market with a nice 211 top. So you have the stock sitting on its all-time low. You have the overall negative sentiment. This isn't the complex notion of where I want to get in. I'm going to get in on a $208 break. So I'll show you what happened, which is taking the breakdown trade, scalping it out in the first little bit, which is generally how I like to take breakdowns, and hold the rest to your larger target, and then look for a rollover trade as well. So when it tries to consolidate back, can it break back above that 211 level? It doesn't. Live on the show, I'm like, oh, I'm trying to get it sitting on the offer, not aggressive enough, and it starts to roll over. What I ended up doing is simply sitting in front of 200. When something breaks an all-time low, it's not as if you have key price levels to go after. You can throw up some extra indicators if you want, Fibonacci's, those types of things, if that's what you're into. That's not really particularly my style. And when I didn't get the ad on that rollover trade, what I should have been willing to do in that situation is say to myself, okay, we've got the trend here. It was difficult to be able to add to that position. It didn't even give me too much of a shot. Where can we actually hold this to? And I think the key thing is here, how do you want to extend trades? Because this would have been a decent time to use a trailing stop. Simply look on your one, whenever it consolidates, can it break back above the next level? So it breaks initially and gets to about a 205. It then breaks that level. It tries to consolidate there, cannot break past it, and then flushes to the 200 level. It had the consolidation. That gets to about like 03.5. It goes back, cannot get past that level, and continues to flush. You follow that pattern all the way down to the absolute bottom when it took out this 190, 192 area and made the hard floor. And if you put that style of a trail in, you're not really getting out until here, realistically. And I think that way you're extending an extra $8 on your trade. It's allowing you that opportunity to extend it, allow the trend to work in your favor. And the most important thing too is if you're willing to risk an $8 short here, when it comes up on the way up to get like 09s, in this kind of a market, maybe you got to be a little bit more aggressive. What I could have done is simply put half the amount of shares I was willing to add to on the way up, and then only take the other half on the way back down. That way you get a piece of the trade. So if it just starts screaming towards that 211 stop level and there is no curl, well, you don't have maximum size on. So if it breaks the level, you're not caught with as many shares short. But if it is a hard turn and it's difficult to get the short, you have something else on board when it does make the curl. So you got to read the market a little bit. It's clearly a bear market kind of situation. So being a little bit more aggressive makes some sense. When you're in the money with the momentum of the market, finding a way to hold it with a trailing stop also makes some sense. I know we're going over a trade that's a pretty clean win. It just gave you 08 to 200. Bingo bango, no one ever went broke taking profit, but the object of the game is to do better. And the object of the game is to adapt to the market, and this being a bit of a bear market we're getting into means holding on to your shorts and being more effective in trading that style. So that's Coinbase for you here today. Love to hear how you guys did in your trades. This wasn't that difficult for the entry, but it's about maximizing those profits, and that's everybody's goal.
Yeah, you got to have an idea of what you're going to do once you're in a successful trade and it is moving in the right direction for you. Are you going to start scalping some out? Are you going to hold some? Are you going to, leave it on and see what happens for the rest of the day? And today was one of those days that might have been a good idea to do just that. That is the watch list, guys. Every single morning at 8:30, we send it out before we come on and walk you through the pre-market. It was a busy one this morning. We had lots to discuss, including the other big mover. I thought my button wasn't working there, Lucas, but it was. Here we go. The other big mover from yesterday was Peloton, back to the downside in a big way after the idea came through that they might not be continuing manufacturing their fitness equipment. The CEO then comes out aftermarket and says, nope, that's not true. However, we are going to look at some ways of maybe, reining things in a little bit as far as costs are concerned. They do have a ton of inventory that they're still trying to work their way through. I mean, $3,000, $3,500 bike in this country anyways. It's not the cheapest, not for anyone, but yeah, it was down 24%. We had a bit of a bounce today, trying to hold, in fact, higher as we speak, guys.
Yeah, so we're just, look at this. There's some size right here on Peloton. We're trying to, okay, there, we just got hit at 10 there. So, okay, yeah, that was an easy trade. So we're basically out of this. We didn't do Peloton anything all afternoon. We waited until it broke through 27. Short. Hits a couple shorts early there on Peloton. Then all the purples, and thank you for watching us one more time. All these purples are short sells, and anytime you see a red, that's a sale. So we don't do anything until we go through $28 right here. So we let it settle down. I mean, there was some pretty decent longs up in here as it just sort of hovered around this 50 period, and then all of a sudden it breaks. And this is what I'm talking about when it kind of, this is not coiling up. I don't know what this is, just trending up here, keeps bouncing off this, and then all of a sudden you get that break. That's the kind of break that I like to see. Pushing, and finally snapping. And we only got as high there as, most of these outs are pretty good. 30s. On the way up, this is just in the first minute, 14s, 15s, 17s, 20s, then in the 30s. Then on the way back down, we just got those 10s that you just saw here. So, hey, if we break through here, 79, 80, then we're gone. You look, it only happened one time. Forget about this. Nothing's happening there. Since the move off of this level, we've only broke it one time and then bounced straight back. So Right here, that's a break, 36 down to 30. So realistically, I could give this a little bit of room down here to 70, and I think that's what we'll wind up doing. So let's hold on some Peloton until 70. Now that I zoomed in, I can see that 70 is a better level. I was actually waiting for 79. So let's wait for 70 and possibly average in one more time, maybe even now, if it comes back to 90s, and maybe even a little bit closer than that, maybe like 80s, something close. That's where we'll average in. But Peloton today, a good little run back for us on that stock. We just made a decent amount back of what we had lost initially shorting this. So Peloton's been busy, man. 73 million shares. I thought there'd be over 100 today. 73 million. What a day from yesterday. Peloton continues to work here today, up 15%. This story's not over, so let's just wait to see when the next shoe is to drop. I'm excited to trade Peloton for the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, I mean, the story from yesterday it's pretty crazy, but I think that the key was that 27.30-ish area. It gave you a decent shot here, I think, in the early on, breaking down 25. Had that trade, went to the well, and then gave it back. But when it came up to that 27.30, I shorted it. I think a lot of people were looking at that. It was a great short in the afternoon. And then there was some good long trades after that. It broke 23, and this is where I actually made money on the stock today, was going long on the break of 27.30, scalping some out, taking the break when it took out the recent high there, getting out in front of 28. I did try reloading here in front of 27 even, then got stopped out. And then I was just, as we're doing that, I was in a short, had reloaded the short in front of 28. The first one worked, and then stopped out on the second one. So going back to the well on the short side, I'm like 3 for 5 shorting it, but really 2 for 3 on the long side. So if I'd been a little bit more aggressive with the long, maybe I'd be up on the stock. And I have to lean if this market's going to hold up, Peloton's got a huge gap to be filled, and 27.30 was a huge level on this stock. So it's held afternoon support at that 27.30 that was our resistance yesterday. So I'm going to start thinking about that as a bit of a stop level if we get any dip on Peloton. I'm going to try to go long. I am short a firm right now. It's off VWAP and off a 60 level, so it's a relatively tight stop there. If the market gets going, I wouldn't want to be too. I'm not going to get run over by that train, but it's right below that 60 that I am short, and VWAP's just above.
Shout out to Arun, because I want to talk about the overall market here. This morning, if you joined us around 9 o'clock when Arun came on, he pointed out this 4,300 area as a very important level. We did break below, come back above, and hold, and gave you that opportunity back to the upside. This is the SPY, obviously, not the futures, but same thing. But here we are, guys, right back down here again at this 4,300 area. So some signs of weakness coming back in. As I said, to kind of start things off, it's looking a little reminiscent of the past few days here as we head into the afternoon.
Yeah, unfortunately, you're right.
Yeah, I
was going to try to think of a way that I could spin that it doesn't look exactly the same as the past couple of days. I mean, I tend to look at the Qs more than the SPYs. So the only thing that I would say right now is it's a decreasing, if you check the chart here, thanks guys, it's a decreasing volume. So that's the one thing that I'm wondering if there's a lot of traders right now that are possibly just kind of like, on their Friday, whatever schedule is right now, and they may be taking the rest of this day off. As tomorrow, of course, we have the Super Bowl, future Super Bowl champions of this year, Green Bay Packers, play tomorrow night. So I feel like there's a lot of people probably taking that day off.
Easy.
Yeah, exactly. Tomorrow night. So, but anyways, no, about the market, you know what? It's just choppy right here. So. Is this the way it looked the last couple of days? Let's have a quick look here. So yeah, we were kind of choppy, but the problem is as you can notice here, this is I don't even know what my time frames are here. I'm looking for some volume to come through. This is 10 o'clock yesterday. As you start to move up, that's at nighttime. This is the disaster that happened yesterday. So here's the kind of the bar coding, but you can kind of see how the volumes here, Brendan, yesterday, by this time, this is 14 o'clock, we really started to pick up the volume. So it was kind of dead in the middle of the day as we were kind of cruising low, and then all of a sudden I guess we broke the low, and then it started to really pick up in volume, and then there's that Tank City, right? So today I don't really see the same thing happening. It's been a consistent volume. We'll see if the volume dies down here coming in, and remember that 14 o'clock, now that I look at it, it's an hour back, right? So right now it's only 1 o'clock in Chicago, so I think it's not the same. We've already come off from 10 o'clock's high. It would be kind of different if we were up here and then trending downside. I'm just going to go with that rhetoric and hope that I'm right and say that, hey, maybe people are at home now enjoying some family time, and they've had enough with this market. So let's see if that's as I was doing that, Peloton goes there. We should have had an offer up there on Peloton. So let's put that offer right now. I think the NASDAQ, watch this. It has a very good chance of turning green today. So let's see if that can work out.
We need a poll that I can vote the opposite on, and then that can happen. So, because I've been wrong about it. It's like, oh, well, we stay green every single day. I'm just at the point we made it turn out, I always say the same thing, and it just hasn't really been able to happen. So I'm looking at it here, and we have been managing to hold some support levels. There's a decent chance, and people sort of not buggering up, but people leaving the market here gives you a chance to almost like bleed up is the kind of thing too. Like if there's less people in the way with orders panicking, then maybe that allows some buyers maybe come in. But overall, I think we're just going to try and play the momentum. Just going to throw out here, AMC up 2%, just took out the highs from the morning. And if you remember, like this is like when it got to 19, when it rolled over from 19, I should say, late, that was a big rollover price in the afternoon, yesterday's action. So getting to a key level, maybe 50 cents away, or just actually less than that on AMC to that 19. And you know how big 20 and 19.50 were on AMC. No one's going to like it, but it gets to 19. I'm probably going to look to fade it off of that level. But AMC on the move just broke high today, up 2.5%. Yeah. And I know GameStop had made a run this afternoon as well.
When stocks like that are up and everything else is to the downside. Like PayPal, I was just going to have a look at PayPal here. 4.7 now to the downside, guys, at day lows. There was multiple negative analyst notes on both PayPal and Square, and basically anything that was connected in any way to cryptocurrencies, including these two. So big day back down to the 165 area here. I mean, multi-month lows now for both PayPal and Square. So yeah, the crypto sell-off continues. We saw 10% on Ethereum. A lot of these stocks connected to those look a lot like this today.
Yeah, there goes Peloton, by the way, right now. Yes, sir. Let's go. Upside on Peloton. Nice little win here. Thanks for that, Peloton. But let's talk. There we go. We just got some out at 50 there. Or sorry, that was 40, the past high. So out. Now we'll hold one piece and see if we can. Well, it's already been a home run, so we'll already hit that, and we'll go slap shot for the Maple Leafs. And I have to talk to Justin when he comes through, because he switched from a Maple Leafs fan to an Edmonton fan. And Edmonton is like, so Leafs are rocking, and Edmonton are like a disgrace, and they want to fire their coach and everything like that. So I'm going to thank Justin for his lack of patronage and switching over to another team. So thank you so much for that, Justin. I have no idea why I went on that rant. Oh yeah, because you just did the hockey thing. Go Leafs, go. I hope Edmonton won last night. I don't know. There was a lot of pressure on them. I'll have to check. Okay, so that's Peloton, and what was he asking about?
We're talking. It was crypto there.
Oh yeah, crypto.
But GameStop just turned like off of 110. I just noticed. Made a hard right turn to the downside. I know we're going to talk about crypto in a second, but AMC got to 18.5, and those halves have been pretty good. So I'm going to see if I can't short it off of the 50 level after seeing GameStop turn here. And of course, I'm not going to be able to get a fill now that I want it. But yeah, GameStop with a big turn there off of 110, pretty key level. So I want to see if AMC follows suit.
Yeah, and what I want to, I've been loving AMC. We missed, I think it was $16 today. 16.20, the low on AMC. We will talk about that. I feel disgusting that we missed that trade. We should have had that. But again, when everything was crashing, it was pretty disastrous. Okay, so this is Bitcoin right now, not moving. And this is what I wanted to tell you guys, even though Brendan started the show there, or not started the show, but we just talked now about it. And it's really flat, man. I mean, I think it was down 10% when we started this morning. It's down 10% again. So really not much action here. It went up to 39,000. It almost retook 40, and then went back down to 37, 38. So I think despite what kind of movement we've seen here on Bitcoin, I mean, you do the same thing for Ethereum. It's still 27.7, so it's doing the same. Well, 27.8 doesn't really matter. Off of this big, huge drop that we saw yesterday, really surprised what's happening right now. So to me, I almost think that stabilization down here is probably pretty good for Bitcoin, and we'll see what does happen. But I'm not super worried when you have a level like this that's been holding. For me on a daily chart, we've already talked about this earlier on the show here today. The big level to watch is just going to be 30,000. This is why I took out yesterday 20 to 25% of pretty much all my holdings. I actually didn't get out Solana. I got out of Bitcoin, Ethereum, Cardano. So those are the three that I got out, but those are the three biggest. So now we'll wait for this one and see where we go. But 37.7 right now. I'm nervous about Bitcoin down here at 30. I think a break of 50 kind of did the same thing. It danced around and then we fell. And I feel like the same thing might happen now and then fall to 30 and then we see that test. So for me, I'm still a bull. I mean, it's just a matter of trimming off what you're comfortable with. And I think that was the one thing that I was going to tell Prad after the show. And the same thing to Miss V is like, Prad's saying that he's going to keep putting money in every month. I think that's fine. I think that's a good strategy. If you put it in at the 15th of every month or something, you don't even look at the price. And if your idea is that you don't really care to trade Bitcoin, you just want to own it, then the price that you get today, the price that you get in the next week, it doesn't really matter. It's just, I had an oversized position, and when I get nervous, that's what I did. I sold. So I sold a little bit, and I am nervous about it. So we'll do some technical analysis this weekend and try to find out some levels where we want to buy back in or a level on the dip. But I think 31, 32 is where we'll look.
I'm kind of thinking like the last times it's gotten to 30, you've broken it and kind of even tested 29. So the way I'm looking here is I kind of feel, okay, well, let's go to 29 here. If it does break 30 even, almost let it break, and as long as it holds 29, allow it to bounce. And if it bounces in front of 30, like you give up a couple of points before buying any more. Being patient is just the way that I would prefer to play it, and that's the way I think I'm going to go with it with Bitcoin, in particular just for the technicals. I mean, Ethereum, it's basically the same types of levels and the same attitude for me. Someone just said, be careful, there's chatter about an AMC push. I mean, AMC's already come from 16 to 1850. So remember, we're day trading, so all I'm doing is playing momentum, right? So the entire reason behind this trade is we break the high of the day, which is at 1840, at the same moment, and I'm going to flip to GameStop for a quick second. I already just got some out of AMC here, so pretty much should not be able to turn into a loser. At the same moment, you have GameStop make this parabolic move up. So GameStop makes another $2 to 110 and then pulls back. After that happens, so you've already had that pullback on GameStop, it's extended, you're actually curling here on AMC. So I short it here at 39 average price, risking to 57 at the high of the day, put a stop order on top, and then just play the scalp trade to the downside. So that's all I really did there. It's nothing, nothing too complicated. It's not I'm shorting AMC from 1840 and it's going to go all the way down to $17. I'm holding the whole thing. No, it's a very, very particular rollover style trade. Now that I'm in the money, I can go adjust my stop. I can say, okay, well, maybe the last bit I'm going to last it'll hold down to like 1780 or so. Maybe if you get frisky down to VWAP, something along those lines. But I'm just looking at what happened in GameStop, see the turn. I'll say to myself, okay, well, there's people that are watching both. That starts to sell off. Likely will pull back. Is there a level to use on AMC? It just did a fail break at the high. It barely got over it and then retraced. So that'll end up working there. I just went back into Peloton. Well, not back in. I'm long, actually. So Peloton doesn't hold 28, but I still think this is a level. If 27.30 was a level all afternoon for the I guess the short in front of 27.30, then I kind of want to make sure that I'm buying in front of that same level because it's actually held it twice. I was short in front at 27.80 and I couldn't go past 30. It gave you 50 cents and that's all it gave you. So I kind of feel like that's going to be the line in the sand. I'm not going to add until it tests that level, but if it tests that level, I'm adding to Peloton and then we'll see what happens. If it breaks maybe like the quarters, like 27.25, I'll just get out of the trade. Overall, I still have the Affirm short, which is working out for me pretty well. But we started this kind of talking crypto, and just to come right back to Coinbase, this is what's happening. And a lot of things are doing this, by the way. It's not just the crypto markets going sideways, or Coinbase going sideways, or DWAX going sideways. But it's a Friday. There's been a lot of action. Maybe it's going to take till 3 for some of these to break out. It wouldn't be great if we broke back down here after barcoding. Like to not get any relief here on Coinbase would kind of suck. You could retest those lows. There's so much room in either direction once you barcode for this long going into power hour.
All right, let's move on to Netflix. The other big story of the day, obviously, coming from Netflix and the lack of subscribers they feel they're going to get in the new quarter. So their forecast missing expectations for subscribers, that is, by quite a long shot. Yeah, I put 400 up there because it appears to be a thing here. We held in the pre-market, eventually breaks, but now definitely a bit of support coming in. Around 400, but what a move as this thing was well above 520 yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about them. It's just their forecast. I mean, everything was fine. We already talked about the content coming forward. I think it's going to be pretty huge. That's what everyone's saying. It should be a good year for content for Netflix. But they did warn that subscriber growth is not popping off as much as they had hoped it would. So when that happens, you're not going to get a good push forward here, down 21%. But never fear, because honestly, I don't think that this move is done going back up. I think it was probably a little bit overdone here. And again, these are just opinions. We don't have any insider information here on what's going on with Netflix. But it looks like that was a big move to the downside. We actually touched down here 380. You can go all the way back to some of those, and maybe I could try to do it here, but every time I do this, it freezes up. But you could go all the way back here to pandemic lows, and you're talking about right into here. This is March, April, May, June of 2020. So you're back into these spots now, and even lower today than that. So I think this is an area that got supported down here, and I said it on the early show, and I think Apple could buy these guys, and maybe they should, just to grab the content. Netflix is working on gaming as well, so I think that there's some sort of synergies there possibly, and at this valuation, sub 200 billion, I really think that there's a chance there. Apple, did I say Microsoft? Apple has that much money on hand. They're trying to get their streaming service going, so why not just knock it out of the park? If pricing, is going to be an issue with Netflix, we talked about this, right, Brendan, when Justin came on, and maybe we'll do it again. It was just that, when you have too many services, it just becomes we're going to cancel one. And unfortunately, maybe that is what Netflix is thinking. But if you put Apple TV, which is already super cheap, I think Apple TV is $9.99, but then it comes with everything else involved. You get all their, whatever they get, the Apple Arcade, all that kind of stuff. You get a certain amount of gigabytes. We have it. So,
you do?
Yeah.
I don't even know what I get with my Apple subscription.
Yeah, you get everything. 1 terabyte, right?
Oh,
it's
no
something
way.
ridiculous. Anyways, needless to say, that doesn't really matter.
Yeah,
it's just the fact that I think you can combine everything, get away with it, and possibly at this level, Apple has 200 billion cash just lying there, let alone if they do something in stock, which they could do as well, half, something like that. So I'm excited for Netflix, but this is a nasty day down, and I don't own the stock. Maybe that's why I'm more excited, but I know it's a tough one for those of you that do.
Yeah, it's been tough. I tried it one shot this morning, and I was looking back to it was this roof in 2020, 2019 to 2020 at 393, and you look at that, turned immediate support. Then you had the run to those highs, and I said, okay, if it breaks that 400. Then that's where the first term I'm going to look for, and I tried to go long in front of it. You can see it stopped out, but you know what? And this is a lesson that I'm sort of. You got to learn from some of your lessons, because I left the morning show saying, yeah, I got to get into this if it tries to bounce, and I never got this consolidation, but there was an opportunity. When that level I was looking for, that 390 broke, you see it hold up, try to break back above 390 again. So I'm sitting there saying that's a price area that we want to try to defend based on the daily chart. When it flips and goes down in its resistance, when the market started breaking back up, look where the breakout was. When you find a good level, and you can tell it's a good level because when it breaks, it runs, right? It runs away from that level. It tries to break back up. It runs away from that level. When it goes back and the market recovers, that's a great entry. And it's a great entry for a long, and it probably should have been had. But not probably, should have been. 100% should have been. At this point, it's still trying to hold up 400. I think if it drops, decent chance it might drop right back to that 390. So we'll be watching out for that, although I don't want to be forcing the trade in Netflix, right? And of course, once again, I try one long in Peloton, and the shorts are working, and I'm getting stopped out right there in Peloton as it breaks that 27.30. And it's just, this is how it seems to go, right? Yesterday, I'm forcing the trade. I'm trying to go long in a firm, not a firm, but in AMAT, and that's the only thing that isn't working. And every single short is working in the afternoon. And once again, it is what it is. This is what a firm is doing, is I'm trying to go long Peloton. This is what AMC is doing, is I'm trying to go long Peloton. And maybe I'm just not going to try going long and catching bottoms in the final hour, although I say that and I probably still will. But anyway.
Yeah, big move there, back to the downside for a few of these. Anyways, I was just reading a few things, guys, on Netflix as well. We'll talk more about it here as the afternoon goes on. But let's talk about Nvidia here. Market, some selling coming back in. I mean, lots to think about here, but some of the chip makers back to the downside as we see a little bit of selling coming back in. I mean, Intel had the factory news today, $20 billion manufacturing facility coming to the U.S., so they're a little bit higher still, but Nvidia, AMD, all the other ones, Micron as well, under pressure here once again.
Yeah, I mean, across the board, there's a couple that are doing okay. Oh, no, never mind. I was about to say Marvell was up, and it's like now down 0.5%. So anyways, everything's rolling over. Intel's probably still at least up a little bit, but keep in mind, remember the buckets that you're in, right? Like I'll be like, you're not going to see me be like, oh yeah, I've liked Intel since blah blah blah. Like at the end of the day, right? Like being early to try to get into things like Intel and Pepsi and Procter, you miss out on applying some of that to the late end of the rally in the back half of last year, right? So it's all well and good. It's like your portfolio does better on days like today, but you do miss some of the upside when you rotate early. Nvidia. It tried to, the level I liked never came in, and almost like, thank goodness. Like if I had liked the 232, I would have just lost on Nvidia today or something a little bit lower. But I did the same sort of thing with Netflix and just went all the way back to the last resistance and then breakout at 230. And guess what? That actually got respected today. So Nvidia manages to hold well above that level on any kind of dip. It tests down here twice, and then it rallied hard. Like it's not like didn't bounce a little bit. This bounced to 250. So if there are some, there were some signs to me today that specifically the chip makers, have made some decent bottoms because the way it ran away, didn't test that support level, and then it ran away from it, got to 250. I know the market's coming back in, some profit taking at the end of the week, but I looked at that. I looked at how strong Marvell was as well, and with the Intel news, obviously they're not the only ones building factories. They're not spending $20 billion, but Global Foundries is spending to build a factory in the U.S., and I think that's going to be a big part of the theme is going to make sure that you have production in-house. Now, having said that, I think it's relatively strong and showing signs of this is some temp bottoms being made in the chips. I still don't want to, I don't want to go day trade long in front of look at this triple bottom 237. I don't feel like making that trade. I just saw what happened when I tried to move into a long position in Peloton. This market wants to roll and break the low of the day. I don't know that stepping in front of this train on Friday is going to be the way to go. But there were definite signs here, especially in the chip sector, that some bottoms got made. I just love how that's $15 that Nvidia ran almost clean off of that support. So that's a decent sign there, and there's a few names that are still up in the space.
Yeah, it's a dangerous space. I mean, I think you got to just look maybe at SMH and stuff like that right now to be able to find some security. Because, I mean, I was long. Look, AMD is actually... AMD and Microsoft are battling for my #1 spot today. So hard to complain that there's any problems here with the trading on AMD because we hit it long early. You guys saw that. We like to defend levels early on AMD. And then there's our last in and then our out. So this was a profitable morning. And then as we were sitting here trading this afternoon, we danced with this a little bit again on a couple breaks. And then we had that short right there, the purple. I don't know if you guys, and you might not be able to see that. Maybe go, yeah, thanks. Wow, look at that. Yeah, anyways, this purple right here, I'll maybe zoom it back in for you as well. We went short right here off basically these same levels before, 123-ish. So that's what we were looking for. If it comes back in, obviously, we wish we were still short, but look what happened. Bang, bang, and then we held it all, and there's our last out. So that was 122.80 short. Our last out, 121.60. That's $1.20. Then we punched the short again on this break, and that didn't work. So we got out as much as we can down there because, it bounced off some of those levels, and then we got out on the upside. So today, a couple failed breaks on AMD, but the short right here, that was a big cash for me, taking the short and finally saying, you know what, we want to go short. Oh yeah, and hi, by the way, my name's Sean, and about 10 minutes ago I said the market's going to go positive, and now we're just getting absolutely destroyed. So, hey, what's up, bull? This is you. I like you, my friend, but get out of here as we throw, watch Oh, we got to watch out because if Tony comes running again, he's going to fall. He's going to fall on that bull. So
I'm half surprised he didn't come running and dive and catch the bull, do like a bit of a barrel roll or something crazy.
how good was Tony on the memes and movers?
Yeah, if you guys didn't catch Tony at midday when he was talking with Trader Pratt, it was fantastic. Trader Pratt comes in there and he makes a say, by the way, I just got out of, because why not, right? What do you
I know, bro. That's mine. I know it turns into. I know. No, I was disappointed in the bull. That's why we threw the bull away. But yeah,
left hand with the catch.
I can't remember who gave this to me, but it was. I'm telling you, it was.
Well, you know,
I know who you think it was, but it wasn't. Some office gave this to me because I used to help with all the Day Trade the World offices and opening up and teaching and training and thousands of traders. Some office gave this to me, and I apologize. They're probably not watching now. I mean, this was. Whatever, I've been here 20 years. But there we go. The bull is in the building. No, now the bear is in the building. So Brad, turn that guy around. We'll just keep him there. Maybe I'll do that every day. We'll switch it over to see how the day is. And then just like how Ms. V, we kind of silly say that if she's wearing green, it's going to be a green day. She's wearing green today. So, so some of our strategies here are not really panning out too well. So
well, I mean, I don't know. Like I've said it all week. Like every time I thought the overall market was going to do something in the afternoon, it's just, I mean, it's been the wrong guess. And the only fortunate thing, and like the only reason yesterday ended up being good for me was I was just in shorts. That like when the market rolled over, I was in like 3 or 4 shorts at the time off of good levels. I thought I just happened to be in Virgin Galactic. When the Peloton
hold on a second. Somebody has chicken or some kind of a sandwich
that smells
right
good.
now. I can smell it right now. It's not Lucas, so let's go over to Brad. Is it Brad, dude? No, it's not Brad. No, it's not Brad. He's not killing a chicken sandwich right now. Get out of here. Get that guy off the screen. Yeah, but we could smell that right away there. Thanks, Brad, for that. Now you made us hungry
just an
as
update,
well.
guys. Of course, because I got out too early. I looked at this cluster here in AMC. This is where my target was going to be. Not even looking for VWAP. And of course, I'm going to hold on to a firm because the market's rolling over. But I just covered the trade there, anticipating that it might catch a bit of a bid. Only because if you look at, that's pre-market lows. That's the previous resistance here. And then it got held up on the way to the high. So might as well see if it can't check up. Although if I go by the theory of why I got into the trade in the first place, you have GameStop, which is trying to break higher support as well. So I kind of feel if this breaks, then good chance AMC's probably headed to VWAP if we get back down to like a 105 on GameStop. Only because today GameStop was leading the way a little bit. And oh yeah, just one other one from this morning. I still have the last bit of my SoFi long. So I never got it all out. Why? Because my last target was trying to catch it in front of 15s. I never really got to like 85, 90 or so to get that last little bit of a spike. And so I said this is the one that I was going to hold on to all day after the double bottom. And I never got a re-entry on this little level. So I probably shouldn't be giving it to the low of the day. If the futures break the low, and I can actually cover this maybe shy of like 75. Not giving it to 50. I was giving it to 50 before. Maybe like a 65 or 75 stop. As far as the firm goes, I'm likely to want to reload this trade. Gets back up here close to VWAP. I'm just going to go ahead, rinse and repeat. I feel like I already have my stop in. If it breaks, 10, 15 cents above VWAP, I can just get out. But every single day, I've beaten myself up for not being short a firm in the afternoon. So today, I'm going to be short a firm in the afternoon.
Note on GM here quickly, guys. GM not really doing much on this, but they just came out here. There you go. They just came out here this afternoon and said they're going to invest $6.5 billion at 2 Michigan sites for EV battery production, according to the Detroit News. So more efforts going towards. That was about there when that huge spike came in. We're also at a monster level here for GM. It's worth mentioning.
Yeah, it looks like they bounced a little bit off that news there. Was that just now, Brendan? A little bit earlier. Okay, I was going to say because there was a big spike there on about 1.5 million of some like erroneous shares there. It doesn't seem like it did anything, but it might have been around 130-ish or so, but there's a nice little spike in. We just got a bump up there in GM, so that's why I was wondering if that's what was going on, but the market is getting bumped up a little bit now as well, so maybe that's something to watch out for. Yeah, you guys, we were just trading a little bit of, let me zoom in here a little bit. We just took out, this is Ethereum, so you guys, I was just a little distracted there. We just hit this right now into the short. $21 just broke. So that broke to the downside. And I mean, it helped with the market going as well, but that was that trade. You know what trade that I'm really disappointed in today is going to have to be Disney. Disney down 7%. I really didn't think that Disney would have this kind of a negative day here. I mean, we know what happened with Netflix, and so this is not like, hey, don't we know anything about Netflix and this and that. I just am surprised. 6.5% seems to be super, super low. But like I said, if Netflix is warning on possible downsizing of subscribers for next year or not hitting their goals in the next coming quarters, then that can't be good for Disney. So I don't, it's sad today that this is what's happening to Disney, but we've broken way, way lower. This is the one day. Look at this, just absolutely tragic. We got out of a decent spot, at a decent spot on our past earnings report. I just didn't think they were going to beat, and obviously we were right on that, just kind of lucky. And then it broke below 170 that day, and it's never looked back. We did get a little bit of relief there, up to 160. We did like that, but today we were not expecting that to come through for Netflix. So basically, if you're a Disney shareholder or you're looking to invest in Disney, it's not going to be something that you're going to like over the next little while, because I really fear their earnings report. I think they're going to guide lower all over the place. Like, how could they predict that parks are going to get back, or their cruise lines or travel's coming back? I just think it's so tough. I mean, you were even talking earlier, Neil, that Boris Johnson there is getting like a little bit grief because he was calling that maybe this thing was over, and he said a date of March 24th, no more masks. That would be great if that was the case, obviously, but I just think Disney's going to be in trouble for a while. So that, for me, is my most disappointing stock today.
Yeah, it's true.
But timing, guys, we'll jump into a very hot topic, one that we get a lot of questions on, and that is chart time frames, one of our favorite topics around here, and one that we have a lot to say about. So let's jump right into it, guys. We'll give you a rundown on what we use for intraday. We'll give you a rundown on what we use for higher time frame and how they kind of work together.
And this is the key, because it doesn't matter what style of trade you have to have the gateway to the market, or at least visually to the market, that's going to matter for that time frame. So as a day trader, you sort of start out with the most obvious. So, well, if I'm day trading, I want to get in and out. So lower time frame charts, I always think 1 minute, 3 minute, 5 minutes are usually in that window. And the way I try to think about the time frame that I want to be watching is, what is the anticipated duration of the trade that I'm going to be taking? So if as a day trader, I'm taking an opening trade, and I anticipate, I could be in this for 1 to 5 minutes on the short end, but maybe no longer than the first hour of the open, then I want to start thinking about a 1, 3, or a 5, right? So I personally, as I'm trading for my executions in the morning, I have a 1 minute. I watch 3 minutes for entries and exits. So right now I'm trading a firm. I've got a 3 minute chart up here just so I can see some levels in that range. And the reason I like to use a 3 minute to monitor my stocks while I might execute on a 1 minute is you get a little bit more choppiness when you have a 1 minute time frame. But I still think that that's a pretty good barometer for starting out. Now I go across the board. I think executions are great on a 1, but when I'm looking for a little bit more momentum, even as a day trader, I'll always make sure that I'm watching, say, a 15-minute chart, just so I can get an idea of multiple days. If I'm looking for opening trades, though, I don't necessarily care about the levels from like a month ago, but I might want to put up a 15. Some people might use a 10 or a 20, but just so you can get a look of, okay, over the last week, over the last 2 weeks, where can I find important clusters in the chart? Where can I find maybe support and resistance? How can I spot a trend? Like here on SoFi, I can notice an obvious range double top the last couple of weeks here. And if you were watching SoFi yesterday, not too much of a shock that it turned at 1650. So that's the kind of thing you want to look for when you're a day trader. You want to make sure that you have chart time frames that'll work with the duration of your trades, but also have a higher time frame look. And these aren't the only things. I like a 1-3 for my executions, 15 to find those trends, but there's more to it than just those few charts.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to almost say the same thing here. And it's just, I think you got to, the most important thing when you're talking about charting timeframes, I think, is really just back testing, making sure that your strategies are legit, making sure that you have, what charts you're looking at, what indicators you're looking at, why you're looking at them, what's going to give you the trade, so on and so forth here. I've just recently added, we could talk about a lot of different names here, or a lot of different angles, but we just added the 50-period moving average here to a 1 minute chart. I tend to think it's not very great here, but again, when we talked about looking at different different crosses. Like I've just noticed when it was crossing VWAP, you know, you do get a nice little bump there on that cross, and then here's the cross down. Although it ticks up, it starts to go down. So like it's just about back testing some of these different strategies that you have and making sure that, you know, they make sense and that, you know, you're looking at different time frames. Like Neil said, what am I trying to do? Am I trying to get a 1 minute trade-off and therefore I'm scalping? Am I looking at a daily chart where I like to use a 50 period? I don't even have a 50 period moving average on my 1 minute. What we use is VWAP, and I've noticed here, especially on trending stocks, and this is the thing, this is the key. So when we're talking about time frames and we're talking about VWAP, volume weighted average price, I like to use it against the stock. So as you can see, NEO down today. Every time it came up and touched VWAP, bang, right there again, right there again. As long as the trend is down, which helps me with this 1 minute, right? As long as the trend is down here, I like when it retraces back to VWAP, that gives you a good idea of maybe where to short it once again. So these kind of moves, very, very nice here. And that's what I use volume weighted average price for. And as you can see on the daily, I don't have anything. I have the 200 and the 50, and that's it. So, you know, it's very, very simple kind of stuff here. And I think that's the most important. They say keep it simple, stupid. And I think if you do that with your charting and you just build yourself a base, then you'll start to understand what's working for you.
Key is to be comfortable, and you have to be comfortable in what you're doing on a daily basis, and that is up to you. There is no secret sauce of time frames that are going to be, you know, the magic key to unlock profits for everyone. Do what works for you and what makes sense for you. That's the point, guys. Let's continue along. Lots to get through this afternoon. We're going to have Justin coming up here in a few minutes. We'll discuss some manufacturing facilities. He's working on that Intel story. He'll tell you a little bit about what that means as far as the company, what that means as far as the job market as well for them. I was still watching this GM move, guys, back to the downside here, but nothing really came of this. 1.8% still to the downside. I mean, huge level, as we said on the daily chart, but all the automakers weak, to say the least.
The way I'm sort of thinking about huge levels here, it's like if you're initiating positions, I think it might make some sense to like, okay, you might dabble at a level like this. If you've been like sitting here like riding these and maybe being a little bit more patient, just assume that the next level down is going to be in play as well. So either nibble or do nothing and wait. So like that's my attitude to GM is like, at this point, like what reason do I have to believe we're not testing 48 to 50 again? And I don't think we have much, right? So at that rate, then why not just wait around? Like, is this definitely a company that I want to have 5 years from now? Answer is yes. I do already own it, so that's the caveat. That's why I'm not considering buying here. But it's true. It's just that's part of it. That's part of it as well. If I didn't have any shares of GM and I believe that this was the safest valuation play in the EV space, would I be buying some 53 and starting? 100% I would be. No question about that. But we can also think about like, you know, being patient to add if you're already in. And I can smell those fries, and I think we're also going to miss V. Trader Prad, you should have shared something. No, we're not. What did I hear?
No, I'm just shaking my head because of the fries. What's up, Ms. V?
Hey guys, we've got a super chat from Mike Crehan. I put half my life savings in AMD long. What do you think? LOL, just kidding.
I think Mike was like, I think he was having a, you know, he's just joking around there. Obviously, he's just kidding. Okay, in all seriousness, we had a conversation. We had a super chat. It was 2 weeks ago or last week, and it was somebody that said, I put half my life savings into AMD. Right. Is this a good idea, or should it be a swing trade? And because we were talking about something that had already happened, I mean, the only answer, and I think both of us were sort of saying, it's like, okay, well, if it's a swing, it's got to be a swing trade. It has to be, because in a swing trade, you've got an out, you've got a time frame. You could be waiting around for some earnings to drop, maybe the start of earnings season for the chip makers with ASML could have been your time frame. Maybe you just had a hard stop at previous support, and that's what we talked about. And so if you went with that, there was a slight bounce after that, and maybe you didn't take any of the profit out and you stopped out at a reasonable level. However, if you were just buying near some of those highs in the market that we're in right now, and there's this crazy wick, so I can't go too far back on my daily chart.
I know, that sucks about it.
On AMD, unfortunately. Sorry, guys. But if we're talking about like actually investing it and thinking I'm putting half my life savings in that one stock, I'm just going to hold it, well, everything is relative. If you are 20 years old, with no responsibilities, and the first thing you are going to buy, seriously, you don't have, like, maybe you're not buying the market, but you're making your first investment, and you are putting half your life savings, and you don't have the responsibilities, you don't have all those other things that the bills to pay necessarily. It's not as crazy, but for most people, that would be a little bit reckless, obviously. So even if I was to tell you, no, just be patient and wait for like 110, what would make sense to do is, even if you loved it the most, determine a reasonable amount of your portfolio that you want it to be, and then start nibbling at it and say, okay, well, if I want it to be X, and this is the amount, then if I want to start buying, like say today, like a 120, this is how much I can put in, and then if I want to wait till the 200 period average, okay, then maybe I get in 10% here and 25% there, and that's the kind of thing that makes a little bit more sense to me. And while I'm saying all of this, good thing we got out of AMC, because GameStop, I mean, if this is the kind of afternoon it's going to be. GameStop back to that 110 level of this level. There we go. That's my daily chart. GameStop right back to that 110 level, so retesting the high. And this is why I'm taking profit all day on that AMC trade. It ends up coming right back down, and I'll play it, I don't care, resistance to support, get out. It's a scalp trade anyways. If your reason for getting in the trade isn't some crazy fundamental or some crazy trend thing, I'm not following the trend. I had one reason for getting in, curl, break high of the day. After GameStop turn around, you take your profit and run. So that's why, that's the logic behind it. I'm not going to get too complicated with anything going into the last hour here.
So we just took a new position on Microsoft. It's been just a couple minutes here. And of course, we're long. Like, I can't, honestly, I don't even learn day to day. It's crazy. We'll see. Yesterday, we had a great short in Microsoft into the close. You guys saw me take that. And so right now, we took a spot out there because it wasn't going. Now we're just going to hold everything, hopefully. Anyways, we already have our out down here, 30s. So we'll see if this trade wants to work upside right now. We see. And again, I'm just trying to like front run this about taking out VWAP now on the downside and, on the upside. So that's a trade that we're looking at right here with Softy. Trying to take this out on the upside right now, breaking through 301 and then retesting higher. And our out's going to be 30, which could hit right now. But it's not a huge position. I'm waiting for the fireworks to happen. So at 3 o'clock, I'm just kind of like looking to see what's going to go down. And if the market's going to tank, then we're going to have some bullets ready to fire at this thing, because we saw it just get crushed yesterday. We may just trade the Qs and not even deal with stock-specific stuff, because that seems to be where the good is as we get ready to go to Justin. And I believe we're just in time now with Justin.
Oh, good one.
Good one. Let's bring him in. Here's Justin Kozach, Day Trade the World marketing guy, back to discuss a few hot topics from today and fill us in on what we need to know. Good to see you as always, Justin. Thanks for doing this. We mentioned this Raven software story going back, I want to say a month or so ago. It's been a while, I think, that we talked about some issues that they were having. Give us an update here, because it's an interesting angle that they have taken.
To know that this was still on my radar. The Ractivision, Raven software testers at Activision, there we go, I got it right, formed the first union at a major U.S. gaming company, which is a absolute watershed moment for workers' rights, particularly in communications. They are looking to ensure that their unit is asking management to recognize their union during a time where there is a lot of change at Activision. In case you hadn't heard, Microsoft, a small little company out of wherever they are, bought Activision for a whopping $68.7 billion. Of course, Activision, no stranger to the headlines in the last few months. Workers' rights aside, they've been embroiled in some controversy and been the target of SEC investigations and sexual harassment scandals. And obviously that big 12 that layoff of 12 contractors in December, where we picked up the story, that started a chain of walkouts within the company. And then today they announced that they finally had formed a union. The ABK Workers Alliance did something quite impressive. They used their social media audience to raise over $370,000 to assist with wages during the strike, so ensuring that those who were fighting for the rights of their fellow employees had some money to fall back on. The interesting thing about this Game Workers Alliance, which is this new organization or this new unit of folks, is focusing on improving the conditions of workers in the video game industry by making it more sustainable, equitable, where transparency is paramount, not just for them, but for everybody who works in this industry. So like I said, this is a huge, huge deal, and it's really, really great to see that that there's some big moves being made in workers' rights. So fantastic stuff.
Yeah, good for them. Great story, great angle on how that kind of played out, because it wasn't looking, terribly positive the last time we spoke of it. Let's talk about Intel here. We talked in the pre-market before you came on this morning, Justin, about this story, but it's a huge investment into a even bigger, I guess, manufacturing plant that's going to employ a lot of people, which is the point.
Right. So Intel announcing earlier today they are dropping $20 billion. That's $20 billion with a B into the construction of two new chip factories in Ohio. The first of its kind in 40 years. Investment is designed to help boost production to meet the surging demand for advanced semiconductors, which has been part of what we're seeing around the crush of GPUs and the lack of availability and the high prices. Intel also pledging an additional $100 million towards partnerships with educational institutions to build a pipeline of talent and bolster research programs in the region. The initial phase of the project is expected to create 3,000 jobs for Intel and 7,000 construction jobs over the course of the build, which is expected to start in 2025, and production will come online construction is expected to begin in late 2022. Production will be coming online in 2025. This is a fantastic, fantastic piece of news. Great for the local economy, great for job creation, and great for the United States. So good for them. Really, really excited to see how this goes.
Yeah, great for the industry, I think, is another way to put that, because this is the first of a few companies that are going to be building these types of facilities in the U.S. as they look to bring that production back home, as you said. I want to talk about this controller. You sent us this link. Here, let me grab this link, and we can show this controller. And is this for any smartphone? Is that what you're trying to say here, Justin?
So it looks like this is for Android. It looks like just Android devices only, and it essentially uses the same form factor, or almost the same form factor that you would have with an Xbox controller, and basically connects it to your Android phone. I'm kind of into this, to be honest with you. I did not expect this. Just kind of popped up, and I'm like, oh, that's really cool. So it'll be interesting to see how this kind of competes with, the Nintendo Switch, how this competes with some of the other portable gaming platforms. I'm kind of curious though. It looks like it's Xbox Game Pass on the screen there. So putting the Xbox app on an Android phone, this is what a time to be alive. So
kidding. What's it called? The Rig MG-X.
Right.
I guess is the name of the actual.
Not an easy name to
here.
pronounce or remember, but
yeah, no kidding. I'm not seeing anything. I didn't get a chance to go through that whole thing, but I'm not seeing anything about it actually being for sale yet. Is it?
It doesn't look like. Oh wait, no. There's a link in the article that I sent, or there's a link in that link that I sent around. It says apparently you can buy it from Amazon for $79.99.
Wow,
but
there you go.
I don't know if it's .ca, but definitely .com. So, yeah.
Who needs an Xbox?
Who needs an Xbox? You could just plug it in your phone and away you go.
Keep it right in your pocket. I love it.
Yep.
Have a wonderful weekend. Justin Kozach, Day Trade the World marketing guy. Check him out, guys, at tradertv. Justin on Twitter. See you next week. Thanks so much.
All right, see you.
That's an interesting concept, guys. If you are into gaming, why not just use your own phone?
It makes some sense. I'll tell you, the Switches, I don't have a Switch. My nephew has one, and he's just addicted to the damn thing. It's like those things it's cool, but I'm not a huge gamer myself, but that looks like a fantastic product. While all this was happening, if you haven't guessed it already, that's the NASDAQ, that's the low, and it's broken. So there it goes again. I mean, SoFi, which is working all day long, I'm now, on the last of my shares, I'm 4 cents in the money, and that was at the, whatever. It doesn't matter. The ES also breaking the lows of the day.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter what your name is, but
It doesn't matter.
you can tell we like wrestling. At least I can say this, at least I'm short of firm today because this is the one I had to have. It's now broken this support at 58.70. Looks like we're probably headed towards the low of the day at this point, so I'm going to hang on to this at least until the low of the day. If you're following GameStop, well, guess what? That just double topped at 110. So with double top 110, that channel here was about 106.50. So it's still in the upper end of the channel, but that made a double top as the market started rolling over. And then AMC, which was following suit, that puts in a lower high. So obviously, I was talking earlier, I mean, AMC's been relatively weaker on that move up than GameStop. So you want to be watching GameStop. That is the leader right now, but that double top doesn't necessarily bode well, especially with the market turning as heavily as it is. And this is why I was talking about, you know, okay, well, I had some signs at Nvidia and some of the chip names look pretty strong, but it didn't make sense to necessarily defend these levels. And if you tried, you're not out of the money a ton, but yeah, I mean, the 237 area long is already looking like it's stopping out if you use that, if you use this 36 as your out. Otherwise, what are you doing? I'm holding it till the end of the day. I'm not reloading SoFi. Like, it's just whatever. Like, it either breaks down and I get out of it. But I am going to hold on to this firm and then look for another trade. I need to find some short opportunities. Maybe it will be a GameStop through 107. That's like $3 worth of risk, which I don't know if I like it when it's one of the strongest names that I see in the overall market. I go back to something from this morning that I thought was going to make some moves, like a DWAC, and it's like, well, DWAC already broke the low, so I'm kind of a ways away from the levels I would have liked. It already broke down back that 77 area where I was shorting it in the morning, so that's gotten away from the price area. So we're going to be a little bit more patient here. Hang on to what's working, and then just ride that train to the downside. If you got a short, you know, give it some room because we're headed to the bottom. I'm going to look at Tesla because people keep saying 950. So I guess we're right down to that. I mean, 940 was the level I liked, so I guess we're getting pretty close.
And the market is once again just getting absolutely trashed right now. I'm going to look. I mean, a lot of people, you guys won't like this because it's AMC, but I mean, you just talked about GameStop, and I think we got 52 million shares. AMC coming down this level right here, possible for a trade right here, taking out the 1782 or whatever this is right here to go to the downside right now, taking out this level. Maybe it falls. You just talked about GameStop not holding that 110 area. So we'll see here what AMC wants to do, but it is on the way down here. So I think that'll be a trade that we can get into on the short side. And then we won't give this one too much room back up. I mean, maybe if it breaks back up through 18, something like that, then we'll be able to get out. But I think AMC to the downside makes a lot of sense here for me. So that's a name that we're going to look at. And other than that, man, I mean, honestly, this is just like disaster happening all over again. And I'm going to say, like, if you think that you haven't nibbled in to something yet, and you're looking over at a Softy or an AMD like we've talked about, or even an Apple. Oh, Apple today was a really good trade for me, actually. We started this one early off today, and it was good in the morning. In and out, that's it. One trade, that was pretty easy. You guys saw me take that. And then that was the short. That worked out pretty good, including cashes right there. And then the long worked out well, all the way back to VWAP again. And then we broke that level, 164, and then we got out on that 164.90 to the downside. So we tested. Now we're getting ready to break one more time here. So this is something definitely that we have to keep our eye on, as Apple's right back into 163, where we had some support before. So you see the market starting to go here. Maybe it's time to punch our ticket on Apple to the long side, but I don't know, man. I'm still waiting for that AMC to drop, but Apple looking pretty juicy now, especially with the NASDAQ trying to go. But I mean, do we really want to be stuck in the short with what's possibly going to happen here into the close? I don't know. We'll have to see what's going on. Yeah, the people's trader there needs to be going people short right now, because the last couple of days we got hit going long. It's still fine. I think we're up on more stocks than we're down today. But the problem is we took a dump on Disney early when we tried to get this long working, and then you see only a couple outs for victories, which was pretty good. But then this last one that took it out, wow, like we got out at 138. The thing went to 136.50. So now Disney right now back on lows, man. I know the market looks like this, but a lot of these names, we're either going to smash these lows or we'll see what the NASDAQ does, and maybe to the downside again here. But wow, just a destruction today.
Yeah, there's a lot of names at ridiculous levels. By the way, like I'm looking at DraftKings here, and sort of just, I'm kind of wishing I had come to this at the same time I looked at a firm, because $60 on a firm is exactly the same as $20 on DraftKings up at VWAP, and it gave you the same trade. Like right when we opened up the afternoon show here at 2, like you get that shot, double top here at the 50 period. It's not the 50 period at VWAP. Also at a key round number. You had some previous resistance there as well. So if there's a spike, let's say we get a bit of a bounce, and I'm still thinking we're going to head southbound, you've got some cover. If you just want to be shorting something on a pop, I'd be looking at DraftKings as well at 20. I mean, I'm also looking to reload a firm if I get a chance at it. You know, we're getting close to possibly turning over on GameStop here, so that definitely bears watching. I'm just sort of looking at a couple of names to the upside. And the other thing to also keep in mind that you should be watching, I don't know, it doesn't matter. You can track VXX, UVXY. It doesn't really, as long as you're tracking volatility a little bit. I do have a chart that I have on the side. If you see me kind of look like this, and I'm looking at my VIX or futures charts, and you might want to see, like, we're still breaking out. Like if you look at the channel, it's a pretty clean channel. So volatility, still going in the wrong direction if you're looking for a bounce here, guys. So make sure you have everything you need in terms of, in this kind of a market. Like I added on pullbacks for the long term, I look at 200 period on my daily. The other thing I look at a little bit more, I always glance over to see how the VIX is doing, because I think that's going to be important. Like I don't necessarily want to be ignoring key turnaround points or resistance points or breakouts in the VIX when you're trying to catch. If you're trying to catch a bottom, go long, like in SoFi. Like there's no way I want to do that at a horrible point. And when I go over and look at the VIX, right? If that's just completely breaking out, then maybe that's not the point. If it's making a bit of a top and I can see a consolidation, then that's not too bad. That might help you with getting a bit of a long. And I'm not saying that's all gospel, but usually you want 2 or 3 points of confirmation. And in this market, the VIX is probably going to help you a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, the volatility index, that's the fear index for the VIX, options and so on and so forth, it wrapped up into there. So as the VIX moves higher, we don't have it on our platform here. We can watch, I think, the VXX in Amex or something. We could definitely watch for that one, and I'll find the symbol and see if it's printing on our platform. Wow, okay, what about NEO right now? All these names are just so low, like they're right near low levels. NEO is not a horrible stock for us, but it was long. We got out one time, and then it dropped down, and actually, with this getting out, it's gonna look bad. We didn't have as many shares as we did on a Disney, that's why I say that, but still, today we tried to catch it again, and the only real long was one time. You had one time long in NEO. You almost had like one time long in the market off some of these bottoms that happened around 10:30. Wow, yeah, the NASDAQ's still going lower here. So I'm going to look at NEO, a Chinese name, battered up right now, trying to break this bottom. So this is another name. I mean, I want to find something that we could maybe short downside, but it doesn't look like that's going to be happening, like something that was near our VWAP or our 50 period. But right now, everything is way off as the NASDAQ, just look at this, man, just puking into the close one more time here. So yuck as we go. But hey, still always tomorrow. I mean, we could always look to trade that. And okay, new position right now, AMC. We do take a short on that. We're going to probably give this back, not probably. We'll take a piece out now if we can in the 70s. But we got to look at giving it back to something like 18 bucks back to the upside. So, we are short here. It's just short right now, 82. I thought we had 84s, but we must have crossed down a little bit too much there. Got 82, so that's okay. AMC right now, we'll see. We're going to give it back. Look, we have that 50 period right there that we've been trying to watch out for. So that's a level right there that we're going to look at, and it's nice because it's at 18. So I think that's something that we can watch here. We'll get out on the way down, but let's see if we can hold AMC. Can it trade near VWAP? Sure, especially if the market does tank. This is a dangerous name because we know retail's behind this, so we're not going to hold this one too tight. It's just what a big day it was for AMC. Maybe it touched the top there. Maybe it's just reloading, but we're going to try a short now just because we broke through this support, right? Let's see if that works. Oh, and it's not working already as it just spikes up almost to 18 bucks again. Oh, man, this is just a wild day for
I might short that pop because I see GameStop still holding below 107, but I've now put a target in for a firm. It is what it is. I'm not necessarily believing we're breaking the low here. And even if we do, I think I'll find another way to get back into the trend. I'm going to short every single pop that I can off a level that makes sense, and that'll be 59, and then that's going to be 60. But to my point there, the reason why I think about AMC is just that you might be okay is that's the break on GameStop here. We broke that recent support. And as long as that continues down and you're watching it,
I just got out of some.
I'm talking myself into it. Like I kind of like AMC here in front of that 18 level, so I might pop in the offer, maybe get like 85 or something myself, and then just make sure I'm watching like a hawk and GameStop doesn't turn on me, because here you can get this to VWAP. If you have a tight stop, you can go 18.05, but just want to make sure that we're going with the trend. And I got out of my SoFi. I just said forget it. Like why even, if it's just going to bleed to the bottom, why am I holding it to the bottom? That's basically break even from the last entry that we had. My average price was 92, so technically I got a 10-cent loss realistically on the last there. And that's probably just I should have taken this out when it failed here and then made that break at about 14.10 or broke 14 even. Those are much more reasonable outs, but sometimes you let frustration get the better of you. You want to hold for that last little home run. So I can't say that I'm taking a tight stop on AMC. And then not take profit if it gets down at least halfway towards VWAP. So I'm going to pop a bid in here and just keep watching, because, like I said, GameStop, and I don't have to flip all the time. Like, I actually have GameStop up here, but GameStop continuing to kind of push downside here. And if it's going to lead, we're probably headed back to this 104 for support. Whenever that makes a base out at that price level, then I want to make sure I'm covering my AMC trade. This market continues to flush. 1.8 now on the ES, 2.5, 2.5% on the NASDAQ.
Yuck.
Hold your short.
I mean, this is just nasty, nasty, nasty. We almost got hit on the bid there. We were waiting at 74s for AMC. We just took another shot here on SoFi. I mean, there's only going to be so much that we're going to be able to do here with this name. I'm just reloading it. This is what we were waiting for. We waited for SoFi to come through, and now here it's come. So this is the level that we were waiting for on SoFi. So let's see if it does make any money here, going back up to the upside. We did average in, obviously. We'll just take some out, 86, 87, 88. And then, if we're lucky enough to get up into the 90s, I think that's a great trade. So yeah, there it goes, Neil. You're going to see right now AMC just, I don't know what's going on, man. It's a lot of volume spikes every time, right up to this 50-period moving average. So I don't know. AMC just, it wants to give us a win, then it doesn't, then it does. So I don't know. I may tap out of this one a little bit early here. I'll put a bid on 86 just to get something out. It just looks, there we go. Did I get that? Yeah. It just looks a little bit dangerous right now to the downside. Sorry, to the upside, anybody that's short. But I'm still trying to hold this. We're just taking some pieces out here. Let's see. Here it comes. Like, we just took some out at 86. Now it comes, crashing back down. Let's wait to see. This is a very, very violent thing here for us on AMC.
Yeah, and look, there's a lot of things that are definitely violent, and they're moving around. You want to make sure you're getting off some good levels. And just to go back to one from this morning, so everything's falling.
Oh,
right
good.
Now. Like that chat just broke, is breaking down to 250. And this has been a short basically all day long that I was chasing and I eventually just gave up on. And it's getting to the point now where if I go to my 15, this just broke out from 225. So next week, there might be, hopefully there'll be some size down here when it gets to these price levels. But that's just, all capitulation all the way back. I'm thinking 225 sometime next week. If it breaks this 250 level, which is where we just broke out from. That was Monday, we broke out at 250, and now 250 is on the bid to end of Friday. So that's the symmetry you have. If it holds this channel for even a day or two, I think there could be a nice little maybe bounce back. I'm not saying it's going to $4, but even if it gives you a 238, 240, something in that range off of 225, and you get back to 75s and 3, I think that would be perfectly fine. So that's going to be on my radar for next week. Anything that had a previous base, then maybe you can hold again. That's where you want to find that support. Of course, going to go back to what I'm actually in right now. Why did I not get any out on AMC? Oh yeah, it didn't quite get to that 60 level. So it is starting to come back down. I'm on the bid here in front of 60 just to start taking profit, and then the rest down to VWAP. Like I said, I'm going to get on the bid of a firm just to make sure I'm getting profit there. There hasn't been a pop for me to get short this thing anymore. That could be it to 59. I was talking about DraftKings, and it's wait for something to come up, and it just continues to slide downside. It's not going parabolic. It's not like the rug is being pulled. It's just slowly grinding to the downside, which makes it tricky. It's a lot easier to get in when you have, I guess, more rapid moves. I always like things going a bit more parabolic because then you can time your entries. I find it a bit better.
Yeah, oh no, for sure. SoFi was actually pretty good there. We actually made it rain a little bit as we got one out at 86 there, and we just take a couple out. So we're still going to hold on to SoFi. Breaking the bottom would be something that we would get out on. So it's very, very close to doing that now, SoFi. So we'll wait to see what happens here with that move. And then we did get some out on AMC. This was a good trade so far. Our latest out there was 69. So we'll see if it comes down. Like Neil, I was waiting at 62. to get a little bit more out. But we are very, very aware of the trajectory of AMC and what it can do. And as you can see, we've added this 50 period. So hopefully that will continue to give us a little bit of something there, targets and whatnot to look at when we're trading, because this is a completely different game. And we're just getting in the mojo, man. It's been a little while since we've seen the market do this kind of stuff every single day, right? So we've been used to catching bottoms and taking the market back to the upside. So right here, like, look, here comes AMC dropping again. So we'll see if it wants to continue its movement to the downside, but it's just going to take a little bit of time to adjust. Like, you don't need to be in on every single trade. You don't need to be on every single name. I think Proud was talking about like 5-star setups or something like that. And it's just like, sometimes you want to wait for that, because you look back and you're like, what the heck was I even thinking? And I'm even thinking about that. Look at that. Like, it just got out at 62.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
yeah, exactly. It just got out at 62. There's some, and we'll hold that. And now it comes right back up. So let's just keep on holding this. We're just getting it out. AMC is going to be a really profitable name for me today. And I've only traded it one time right here. So sometimes that's what we're saying. Wait for your opportunities and you should be able to strike. Normally I'm long AMC, but we'll hit a short right now.
I'm going to hit some keys here. Like, I don't want to sound like we're not celebrating or anything like that or happy about like the wins, but overall, it's a trickier market. And like, we just got back in, like we said, just got back into AMC. I wish there had been something else we could have dug into. But hey, that's going to be it's going to be a trade that works out. So we're going to be happy that it happens. I know people are asking about some of these big cap names. Load, come on, 1 minute. And Facebook down 3.5%. Like, on these lows, Facebook on the daily chart, and I'm going to say the same thing I probably said about GM, so bear with me on it. If you don't have anything, if you're looking to initiate positions, it's like, I want exposure to the metaverse. I want to own this stock. I believe in them for 5 to 10 years. Well, first area of support on this pullback, since it got through the 200 and the 50, that's right here. So does it make sense in front of 300 to start a position? Yeah, I would agree, but just understand that when you have, like, these valuations could easily come in, easily could be cut by another like 30 or 40% or even 20% on some of these names that are more reasonable. You could definitely get back to 250. Like, so if you're willing to stomach that, that tells me that you have a 5 to 10 year time frame, and that's perfectly fine. So you start a nibble, and there's nothing wrong with that. But this is a big level.
Have you seen Amazon's chart?
Amazon's worse than the Facebook chart.
Worse,
isn't it?
Bro, Amazon
just rolled over.
Amazon's not even close to anywhere where you'd think, like.
No, I know. No. I looked at it this afternoon.
Like, isn't that crazy? Oh God, we have that wick up there. I was going to say, like, how bad is this? Like, Facebook is actually still under control, in my opinion. Amazon has left the building right now. Like, I should have I had a 200 period on here before. I don't know what happened to it. But yeah, this is way, way below. I don't know if
I had the two.
Okay, we'll go to Brendan quickly.
I just wanted to mention, from an institutional aspect, an institutional point of view, this right now, right here, right now, on the S&P 500 is the 200 period moving average. So we are sitting on it right here, right now for the S&P. So a big move down once again.
All right, I'm adding the 200 period. I mean, I thought I had it on here already, but I guess we didn't. So we'll just put in here 200, and then we'll make this red. I mean, I did have it earlier. I know I was showing you guys it, but I must have got deleted there. So there we go. So we'll push OK. We'll push apply. There it is. So simple moving average, the 200 right there. We'll hide the indicator and call it a day. So you can see, I got to make it a little bit thicker, but this is what I mean. You're actually getting that cross right now, the 50 and the 200. This is nasty right here for Amazon.
It's death cross.
Yeah.
And it's at 2,800, which is it is actually a similar level if you look back at it, because if you look at the floor, like the mid 2020 floor in Amazon, the channel that it's been in for a year and a half is right here. Like, it's breaking the bottom of that. So I guess I could say that would be that is a similar level. But you get a break of that, and you should not be shocked. Like, valuations pretty high. Like, it's not a cheap stock. So you can start thinking about 24. You start thinking about 25. But if you have a 5-10 year time frame, then that's okay. If you're trying to make swings off of these levels, I mean, the momentum's telling you the opposite here. That's just the harsh reality. And going back to what's actually trading here, AMC just popped right back up to this 18 area. So I'm looking at GameStop. Yeah, that popped. Still below that 107. So if we're below 107 and we curl off 18 here, then I would add to the position. And if we're breaking back into the upper channel in GameStop, then I'm not going to go ahead and add. So I'm kind of watching here if we can hold. Yeah, it looks like we're trying to hold. Get back below like 90. in between 95 and 18 with GameStop holding 107, then I would add to the position. Otherwise, I'm probably looking to just get out of this and say, we take the money and run. Don't let this get into an absolute mess. I might get a reload and a firm, but that's a different story.
Oh, man, yeah, wow. Yeah, so that AMC actually still fought. I mean, we got taken out, but it was still fine. We got out a lot here, and then it busted through, and then that's out at 18. So thank God we got that 62 print or whatever that was. It's AMC right now, starting to head to the high side. And look at SoFi. Yes, sir. This is why we're like pretty happy with situations right now. Light one up this weekend. I think we all deserve one, or at least whatever your vice is this weekend. If you haven't been stressed out this week, then I don't know, maybe you're just a cool cat, because this week has been pretty stressful, along with crypto as well. Like, nothing seems to be working. That's why I was like, you know what, I'm going to empty out of some of these clips here. But right now, SoFi, good trade for me. We waited all day for this to happen. We hit it early long, which is great. SoFi is going to be one of my top stocks again today, but boom. So far, so good. Everything working out for us here on SoFi. No trades lower than our buys, so that's good. Bought there. And then right now, SoFi just taking out that 50 period. So there it is. Bids, offers right there. And now we'll see if we can climb. I don't know where we're going to go. I mean, if the NASDAQ wants to keep going, then great. That's something to look at. Do we want to test Microsoft again? Microsoft was down to 298. Yeah, it's still there. It just goes right to the 50 period again. So glad we got some out here. This was, like, look at that. We got out, and then look at this. So instead of just getting out, Sean, why don't you just go short, right? But it's bouncing off right now. So this could be a good little area to go short on Softy, especially that we've just built it back up here. Thing is, I got to trade a little bit less shares so that I can hold these things, because I get too nervous thinking that I'm going to be wrong, which is not the right way to think. If you have a plan of action, you should just execute that plan and don't even worry about share size, what your P&L is, or anything like that. You just, you need to get in there and buy or sell, because if your decision is solid, and if you've practiced, and hopefully if you have experience, which it might not appear we do, but we have experience, you just sometimes got to stick to your rules there. So that's why it allowed us to get out of AMC there without any damage and actually make money, obviously, on the trade, as we took one last try at 90, got blown out there at 18 even. So yeah, that's what you got to do. And I'm thinking about shorting that Softy right now.
Yeah, and there's a wick top here breaking back out in GameStop, or at least attempting to. That's going to get me out of AMC, but you're absolutely right about that. Like, what makes a good poker player? A good poker player is one that makes quality decisions regardless of the amount of chips in front of them or the size of the pot. And it's about evaluating decisions, not evaluating the profits. It doesn't matter whether you won a pot in poker, did you make right decisions along the way? Because if you jammed with deuce 7 and then managed to get lucky, then it doesn't mean that you did the right thing. And I always love people.
It depends if you're suited.
If you're playing deuce 7 bounty, which we do sometimes, then that's fair enough. But I always watch, I never like it when one of our traders, when we have games here, if they celebrate, and they're legitimately celebrating when they made an absolute donk of a call, it's that's a bit of a warning sign, because it's you shouldn't be, you should understand what you just did there. Anyways, I'm getting too much into poker there, but just going to go back to Peloton, one that did not work trying the long. It's still the bottom end of the channel, but guess what? It's holding up pretty nicely, at least. Oh, my 15 minutes going to be an absolute mess because of all the executions, but it's holding up relatively nicely in that if you look at the pre-market consolidation and then the break, this 26.5, hey, we're trying to close. If I say we're closing above 26.50, Peloton's going to close below. So it's trying to close above 26.50, which puts it in a bit of an upward trajectory to fill in some of this gap. So certainly that's a pretty bullish sign for it. I'm going to notice, of course, that 28 break was a muted success, so that level could still come into play. And if you pull back even further, the shelf here, that 29 was a pretty big one, and that has yet to be broken. But it is trying to make a bit of a wedge into that 29 level to look out for next week. And of course, like I said, the one thing I told myself I had to do was be short a firm and make sure I hold it. It looks like we are breaking the afternoon low once again here at 58. I'm out in front of the low from this morning to try and take $2 on the trade. With only about 40 minutes to go or less than that, I have to be flat at the end of the day. I will have to take this out no matter what, even if it looks like it's pennies away from the target. I'm not holding into the aftermarket, but it feels like we're going to get that bid.
Yeah. And look what I said about trust, right? We weren't even looking at Softy If you can get to the screen, Mr. Randy, thank you so much. Look at that right there. This, like, we talked about, that trade. And look, if we didn't even take it, you just robo it, like you put an algo in, take that trade every time it comes up there, then you just took yourself down $2 or so, about $1.50 there, and we didn't have it. So that's part of it, questioning some of the moves that you made. I see there, what's up? Yeah, no, this is a day trader's market, Jake. We just got to go short there. I forget who it was. Was it Day Trader Mom? Well, Dakota Wade. What's up, Dakota Wade? Thoughts on Shop? Yeah, nasty is what my thoughts on Shopify are. I love Shopify, though. I just got a new position on this not too long ago, like I think about a week and a half ago or something. We tweeted it out along with CRM. But what the hell? Today, 15? We can't go in and buy now, but 15% down today for Shopify. I was looking at their PE. It's still not the greatest here. It's actually, I have it up on my screen here. I was just using FinViz. You can see the forward-looking PE, 156 still. Their past PE, $38, but forward-looking based on statements and revisions and things like that. Shopify, that's not going to be accurate, so it's not really a great source. Maybe Brendan has a better one, but current PE looks like 38. I think that's reasonable to buy, man. Shopify's probably never been this cheap on a PE ratio. I like Shopify. I think it works in all facets of this economy. On the reopen, I think it works. I think it's great for what we're doing right now when you're kind of in between. It's really sparked a lot of small businesses. It's allowed them to, integrate their at-home businesses into something profitable online, so on and so forth. But for us, we don't trade it because the spread is right now is $2. So it's just a little bit risky to trade. But Shopify, wow, just getting absolutely destroyed. And you want to talk about an Amazon. Okay, so here's the 200 period. So hopefully it'll load up here. But Shopify, like way, way off right now. Like this stock is getting absolutely cleaned again. You're probably back to March of 2020 levels, if not even before then. March of 2020 now, we're not there yet. $600-700. You've made a nice move up to 17, and now you're literally cut in half. So Shopify's cut in half. I can't believe it. I don't have much to say on that other than the fact that, hey, valuations have come into focus. Shopify, I'm out now, probably 20% on this position because you add today's destruction into it, and it's not nice. So Shopify, yeah, horrible, horrible, horrible. We're down pretty low in this, just like Netflix. It's right at it, Dakota. It's right at some key levels. So if you go back, like I was saying, September 2020 into here, there are some bouncing spots where people thought, like, it's already dropped from 12 down to 8. Right? And then again from 12 down to 8. So, it's had these drops before. Obviously, we're getting extended now. I believe at some point, Shopify gets upgraded and is a buy. So, but not in a NASDAQ down 2.5%.
So I agree with you on Shopify. And we were saying earlier in the show, it's like, don't look at your RSP. That's like 401k. 401k, yep. It's like RSP for us here. But that just forced me to realize I'm now not in the money anymore on Shopify after the last couple of days. But it doesn't always matter. A couple of times someone has asked about Lemonade, so I'll say the same thing I said several times about this and I said about Virgin Galactic. As a person who bought this stock and rode the wave to the upside and then reloaded and then took some profit and still hold a little bit. Like I still hold like that shot play enough that it's like the who cares point. But I was looking like the whole way down. I was like, I might get back into this if we can retest like 50. The whole time I was saying that, and then I was looking a little bit deeper. I actually talked to somebody in the industry recently, and I came back from that. I think Goldman knows. It might have been Goldman, but I forget who it was in the chat. And I just said no, and I said I'm not touching this stock at least one more earnings report that they can dive into to see some actual improvement. Because when you're betting on something like them, a hard enough industry to crack, right? Their loss ratios are not very good at all. Actually, it didn't show enough improvement. And pretty discouraging, the last report that they had. So there's a lot of reasons why this doesn't work because they're not making money, right? So there's a lot of reasons why it doesn't work. I understand they're moving into auto. They move very, very aggressively into expansion in a tough environment for the stock. So I just think it's a no until maybe the second or third quarter. There could be some reasons to start dabbling into it. I'd rather be too late than too early on something like this because they got enough. Certainly for 2 years, I think they're good. Like for a couple of years, they can make this try to work. So there is some runway for you to take a stab at it. I just think this isn't the point. And that's me changing my mind. But changing my mind meant not buying it at $50. It's now at $29. So I'll be honest about it. Like that's where it's at for me. The shares I have left are definitely out of the money. I'm bag holding on, but at the end of the day, like the rest of those didn't really make a difference. And also, I sold probably $50 or $60 off of the high, so I didn't get the top by any stretch of the imagination because I thought it was a screaming short at about 140. I thought SI was a screaming short at 150 and it went to 200. That happens sometimes, but lemonade, just say no. Although the drink itself, hey, I got nothing.
Have an Arnold Palmer. Mix it with some iced tea there, and you get the Arnold Palmer. But I like lemonade. The kids like lemonade as well, and we like Arnold Palmers. But yeah, well, I'm still on Shopify there. I'm going to. I was going to say maybe reload SoFi as SoFi's come back in here. We do have a very, very small spot now. It came back up. Look at the last couple outs we have here: 86, 87, 89, and then it just now, as you were talking. Well, I guess as we were both talking the last 10 minutes, went right back up to 95-ish on SoFi. So yeah, so I'm going to reload it down here again if we can get it down there. But for right now, there is no reload on SoFi as we just continue to watch this market just go bang, bang, bang all the way to the downside. So we'll reload SoFi in a minute. Wow, Twitter 52-week lows as well. We could check out that name. If there's any names you guys want us to check out in the chat, maybe we can look at DWAC as well. AMC still sub 18, but hanging out there. Twitter, wow, just look at this chart, guys. Whoops, zooming the wrong way. There we go. There it is. Look at this. Just like, where do you?
Oh, wow, there it is.
You know, what? There's what is. Go ahead.
Finally, I get to hit something. I'm
Yes,
gonna hit this
hit
one because Miss V's in the house. He's back. I gotta hit this one more often. Get my target on a firm. So target hit. Look, it is what it is. Like I think it's not a hard thing to be able to say. Oh, look at the stock, look at the trend. The trend is your friend sometimes, and know which name you want to get into. And when I found myself sort of sitting there, I had a SoFi long, and I was maybe scalping a few things here or there. And I was like, what do I want to be in the afternoon? And it was an obvious resistance point in a firm. But like I said, it doesn't it's not about a firm. I could look at DraftKings going to pull up, right? Because how is that any different from the setup on DraftKings? Lower high put in, that's $20, that's trying to break out, trying to break VWAP. Same thing, roll over, grinding into the lows. So like just playing the trend, that would have worked so well the same way over here on DraftKings. So I hate saying it is what it is over and over again, but sometimes you've just got to be able to play the trend. And how many times did it have to be at the end of the day we were seeing the market roll over before just saying, okay, get a short, get something you like, hang on to it, give it more room, and then try to extend it. So, that's what I tried to do here. It eventually worked out. I look at AMC, which I did get stopped out of on AMC, so I've tried AMC twice. First short was good. The second short, trying it a bit lower, so that's basically flat trade because I took half out, and then the rest out for the loss. That's basically 1-to-1. So that's going to be a loss. But the difference here is, AMC was in an uptrend. And I thought it was going to reverse the trend here. It obviously didn't, so don't fight it too hard. It's still trying to make a bit of a break. GameStop's at the high, near enough to those highs. So maybe it's a reversal market, I suppose.
You just might have heard it right there. Bang first, and then yeah, SoFi, man, we got it again. It was a perfect entry again. It just looks perfect because it was right at this price. This is what's happened to me before today, where we pick good prices, but then it just runs right through us. So again, a little bit lucky there with the NASDAQ starting to bump up here just a little bit. So that's good sign. NASDAQ bumping helped out this SoFi trade, obviously, as it just takes out the 50 period again right there. So that's where we're targeting. Now we're starting to go to the upside. Climb, young man, climb. If SoFi goes, man, we make back a lot of money here today and be pretty happy with this as the imbalances are getting ready to rock and roll here coming through now. So we'll watch out for that. Randy, I see what you're doing, but look at this one.
What's he doing?
Nothing. He's showing that People's Trader. I said that I would show that up there, but look at this one, Randy. Here we go. Someone made this for me today with the sunglasses. I love the fact that there's like tickers or values in here in the glasses, so that looks pretty cool. And of course, this is Batista. It looks almost exactly like me, but I don't have these tattoos.
How is that not The Rock?
Oh, is it The Rock? Yeah, it's The Rock. Yeah, sorry, there's the Rumble. What was I said Batista earlier.
No, the tattoo.
No, this is The Rock's tattoo, of course. So it's The Rock there, but yeah, very, very similar, but I don't have the tattoo there. So what's up, Ms. V?
Hey guys, we've got a super chat from Noah. Snap just flashing. Next with below around 25, 27. Yes, a lot of names are flashing today, guys. So maybe we can take a look directly to Snap. And by the way, let's go along on the like button. This is the safe place, and we have 3,600 people watching and only 600 likes. So team, please support the community, smash the like button, and help us get 1,000, please. Back to you.
We don't get 1,000 likes, man. Well, let's just can Prad, because I think it probably will be his problem.
Well, he didn't share the fries with me
Yeah,
already,
I mean,
so
it's
I still
just-
haven't gotten a fry, but that's
Yeah, it's
fine.
like it is what it is. But sorry about that, Prad.
You ate them all, Lucas?
Lucas killing it.
He's young.
Yeah. Don't worry, Prad.
One fry. Like I would have.
Neil's still upset about the fries, so.
No, it's not about that, man. It's not about that. Don't worry about it.
Prad
I'm
said
just
he's going to go buy some right now.
share.
Wow, sharing. Wow.
Sharing
wow.
is caring. That's what I tell my daughter. Sharing is caring. So share.
Yeah. He is sharing. He shared with Lucas, remember? Wow. Okay. Yeah. So fight. All right. So there's SoFi, guys. Bubba bang for SoFi. So we'll go.
Oh my God.
And celebrate SoFi because we're throwing some grenades on this name finally today. I suck because I only go long apparently, but we caught a good one here in SoFi. Wow, that one just exploded for us. Good money being made here at the close. What's up, Brendo?
What market sell-off? All you have to do is just buy Weemy hologram, apparently, because yeah, that's quite a day. 5.25% here to the upside today. At day highs, buyers still stepping up, taking out offers, guys, for Weemy.
Are they though?
Are they though? Are they not?
Are they though? Let's see.
AMC ripping right now. Wimmy. Yeah, Neil called that up.
I'm trying to load it up.
Let's just check out. Yeah, Neil will load it up. Our charts are taking the day off as well. AMC, a nice little move upside as well. Speaking about taking the day off, shout out to Rob. How you doing? Okay, so here we go. Right up to the upside. Bang, bang, bang. Continues to go right now on AMC. Watch out for this 1860 long right now. So we can check out for that. We'll see what happens right now with this name, AMC, trying to take out some highs. So I think we could still get up there. We're going to wait for the imbalances. Right now, only 15 minutes away for the NASDAQ imbalances. So they're going to be coming out soon. Holy shnikes. You can see right now, look at Square. Wow. I was like, oh, maybe Square's at 120.
Blocked.
But it's, yeah, blocked. Yeah. You're getting blocked right now if you went long on this name.
Oh, God.
This is just like, you know what this stock is now? I'm just going to call it Dikembe Mutombo because the block. Yo. Prad, I'm hosting the show here, bro. Okay, so yeah, Hakeem the Dream, apparently, Prad dropping some knowledge there. Like, he has no idea where Vancouver is, but he knows it's Hakeem Olajuwon's birthday.
The important things.
Okay, so here we go, guys. Look at Square just getting absolutely destroyed. Actually, Brendan and I, on our way to our vehicles, Neil, yesterday, we were talking about Square and just like, wow, how disastrous this name's been. Like, we sort of we don't hate on, well, we do hate on PayPal, but I own PayPal and I own Square. So, a lot of these just, sure, you're able to get some out. I mean, it doesn't make sense to be, I'm long $35 on Square. So as you can see, or I think my average price now is 50 something, but like that was real good when it was at 280, right? Now it's back down here to 118. So like how low are some of these names going to go? Like if you played off this consolidation, 150, well, now you're down. So are we going to play off this consolidation now? I don't know. I don't know where these things are going to go. I keep saying that a lot of these names are like buyout candidates. I don't know. I always remember that Jamie Dimon says his biggest miss, and it was way before this, before pandemic, was picking up Square. So he made those comments on the way up here, and I know JP Morgan is investing a hell of a lot of money in technology right now. So not that that's going to happen, but Square, I don't know where they get out of their own way here. Bitcoin going down. Jack Dorsey's made a play on Bitcoin as well.
Like huge valuations.
They're all huge, and I don't really know what to say, except for... Did that even say anything there? I don't know if that said anything. So we'll just go, because right now we're looking at SoFi. As SoFi, we just had Rolls Royce there. I haven't made any trades on that today. You can see right here, SoFi trying to go to the upside right now on the daily. We already have that bottom of 12. That was the charter. But right now on the 1 minute, which is right here, you're going to see a nice little move back upside here for SoFi on this 1 minute chart, making a nice move back up and just killing it now to the upside. So here's a couple more outs near 14. So we definitely loaded it up. I mean, I wouldn't be able to take all these outs, right, if we weren't loaded up down here on SoFi. So probably the biggest position we took today on that name obviously is down in here. So now let's see SoFi climb through 14 and just top our day off with a nice little long.
And because I can't help myself, I just saw a resistance on GameStop at 108, kind of trying to put it like a mini Head and Shoulders when you had the same curl going on here in AMC at the lower high. So I'll give this another 15 penny stop or something along that range and just say, okay, what's the thing that has worked for me? And of course, it's been going short. And the second I do, we'll see if it does break up. I'd love to, like, you never want to lose, but I'm out of the firm short. So I'm kind of at this point now where it's like, if we want to at least have some kind of a rally, let's have that happen here in the NASDAQ. And I think why, if you're thinking we could rally in the overall market, that it's not the end of the world to short an AMC or a GameStop, as long as you have an out, is well, they were going counter trend anyways. Like these were going up as the market was making bottom. So I would feel that at least I'd have a shot for this to work if we were to bounce back up. And even taking 50 to 100 points at this point would feel like a win on the NASDAQ. I mean, if we close anywhere near like 2% or 1.75, something like that would feel pretty good. Targets, if I'm going 1-to-1, I definitely take some out 18, and then maybe I'd shoot some for 17.75. I'm not sure VWAP's going to come in play because there's so much, like it's churning through so much volume right now. It's just, like it's not, I feel like it's not going to move too far. Like I feel like we could stay within like this like 60 penny range, which makes these quick little scalp trades, I think, worth it from a risk to reward standpoint, as long as you give yourself a bit of an out. And speaking of having an out, I will be happy to, if it's a load up here, happy to report that, Affirm, yeah, there was the out at the bottom. That took a while. It did bounce a little bit back to the upside. So right now it looks like that was a good out, taking it out before the low of the day. Like anytime a stock is, it's about where it's come, as much as where it's been going. And I think there is some support on the daily on a firm down here. So thinking it's going to break out and just have an absolute capitulation from this level, I think is a bit rich. So taking the profit at the end of the day had more to do with how far a firm has already fallen than anything else. I mean, if a firm happened to still be anything around this cluster, you'd be holding it right up to 4 o'clock because you would go further. But it's already made a pretty significant retracement. This last group right here was 80, so that move to 60 seems pretty logical. Hopefully we can play off the 60 level next week, and hopefully AMC heads a little bit further down for me.
All right, so Microsoft, we're going to go long here. I said long, so that means you should just go short. But it's coming up to this level right now. I get a feeling like the NASDAQ is trying to break, obviously, as well right now, break a little bit higher. And we're going to try to go with the market here on the way back up. I feel like maybe we made a bottom, but you can just talk yourself into any trade, so it doesn't really matter. If we could take this out and go through 50, we'll do that. We're only going to give this one 50 cents worth of risk to the downside because we don't want to be wrong and really, really wind up paying for this. Maybe even down here, maybe. But we're going to wait to see if it can blow up to the high side right now. There it is. We should be in. Yes, we are. Now we're into softy. Again, back up here would be pretty nice. That's 70 cents worth of room. So if we can get upside, let's see if that'll work for us now with softy as we go over to the real people's champ, Brendan.
Wasn't much of a bounce on this, but worth a note here, guys, on Tesla, trying anyways to get back above 950. They're aiming to have a few, one or a few, Model Y deliveries from Gigafactory Texas by this quarter, which is way ahead of schedule for that place. I remember, I think it was last year at some point, it was basically barren land. Now it's making cars, guys.
Okay, so nice little call there. And guess what? In your face. I mean, we're long. Microsoft's my top stock today. But there it goes all the way to the upside. Yes, sir, we hit the home runs right now. Bang, 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 as we fire them off here finally for once today. And yeah, we're excited right now. How about those? Right now, $1 in the money on softy. We did take some out at 99. Here we go at 25. That's 75 cents. This is $1 in 1 minute off that breaking spot right there. I told you, man, that we'd use this 50 period. And there it is right there. It takes it out. We crack on here on the NASDAQ, and it's a nice little move to to the upside. So yes, sir, we'll celebrate that a little bit here as SoFi trying to go as well. But there we go, Microsoft. We took some more SoFi out as well there on that upside right here, 1405. So this has been a very, very good afternoon for me. I hope you guys are back and ready to rock and roll because, oh, Canada, I have no idea why we hit that, but we love our country. And hopefully, apparently January 31st now, we can finally go back into a restaurant. So isn't that amazing? We don't have any fans anywhere, Neil, but down south, I watch the games and the stadiums are packed. Okay, it's crazy. I've had enough of this. We need to reopen, and let's see where we go from here. But whatever. At least the kids are back in school. Shout out to you guys, although you must be done now.
Oh, we should have, I forgot about this. Peloton is coming out of the NSX today. So there might be a slight imbalance on Peloton to the south side. We mentioned this in the closing show yesterday. I think right at the end of the show. We might have mentioned it in the morning as well, but just going to throw that one out there. So Peloton. I'm not saying there's going to be a big sell imbalance, but there is an expected amount of selling at the close here today. And of course, the day that I don't actually try a long off the bottom, like that's, what do we say? It was $9.40 on Tesla.
Yep.
That's like $9.40 and 50 cents, and it goes $20.
It's almost to the dot.
Because of course, right? Like that's exactly. And then the next thing that's going to happen is my stop's going to get triggered right about. There we go, right there. So there it is. You just saw live. There goes the AMC, the last one up there. So I'm not going to give everything back. Shorting AMC, I'm going to hang on to some of the profit we had at the top there. But this is what happens. Now I'm not really that angry because I did try to catch bottoms on levels I liked yesterday, and that didn't work. So, I stuck to shorting. That ended up working out. I'm happy the market's going to make the bounce.
Go.
940 Tesla, that's a great level. 1040 was a good level on Tesla. 940 holding up here today. So sometimes it's not about the round numbers. 50 seemed obvious. I liked 40 when I was looking at the charts this morning. But it's right into the same resistance it had. It needs to still break out a little bit further to get past this chop.
Oh, God. There was a trade in our pool? Oh, come on.
Who the hell's making a trade now?
This is just went down.
Zane.
Miles Sanders, Deshaun Watson, and Kelsey for Landry, Jamal Williams, DeAndre Smith, and Trey Lance. Let's just hope that there's some sort of picks there, but because I feel like Deshaun.
You didn't say those players right.
Okay. We'll check your email. Okay, let's go, guys. Microsoft. Let's go, Microsoft. Awesome. Yeah. Okay, it does work there. You know what? You got to get rid of that, man. I like the Valley Girl stuff.
Oh my God.
Maybe I shouldn't say that if the wife is watching. Okay, all the way to the upside right now. $2.99, a nice little win right here for us on Microsoft as we continue to go to the upside. March, let's go, March. Get the troops out, Miss V.
Hey guys, we've got a super chat from Tyroneer. Thank you so much, 100 super chat. We appreciate your generosity and congratulations. Up 17,000 on my tag and SPAC puts today. Have a few pins of med on me today. Thanks for the excellent commentary, guys. Congratulations, this is so great. Up 17,000. Wow.
Congratulations, Tyroneer. And I love anybody that's a sci-fi nerd like me. I guess it's more like fantasy, Game of Thrones for life. It's all about the meat and mead, baby. And mead. Everyone's like, who says mead? I love it. So thank you very much for that. We'll make sure we do enjoy things. Well, look, obviously,
big super chat.
This type of market, all jokes aside, all kidding aside, but we always kid, first of all. But this type of market, and especially in a raising rate environment where you have just an overall sea change of what's going on here, you do have great trading opportunities. And it's not you saw Peloton yesterday. There were some obvious short opportunities that were giving you $2, $3 type moves, bounce plays. You just like volatility as a short-term trader. It sucks sometimes for your long-term account. But when you are an active trader, these are the kind of days you want to take advantage of and just play the trend. Like you can find bigger wins. Like the kind of wins we're going to get on whatever stock it is, whether it's Microsoft or it's AMC or whether it's a firm, you can start to get like 2x the types of volatility in longer trades and moves than you're going to be able to get in a regular market. Like there were some, you can just let it ride is the way to go here. And I'm going to point out one that sucked today, but like if you look at, when we talk about the trade of the day, it was about the fact that I could have had twice as much on the same Coinbase trade, but I wasn't thinking big enough on it. And I wasn't thinking big enough on the GameStop short this morning. I didn't give it enough room, and that just dropped. The 100 break was great. It goes right to 92. You could have had 95s easy, and I'm giving it $1 worth of risk. So start thinking bigger and bigger in terms of, maybe give things a bit more room. Hold things a little bit longer. That's the environment we're in. You can definitely hit some home runs, and it's not going away. We're in a raising rate environment for the rest of the year. We're going to have volatility days like this, and you want to be able to capitalize.
Yes, sir. And okay. Oh, so Microsoft, we tried it one more time at that spot. We took a very, very small trade right there because I haven't tested the theory of coming running back down through it. So we were sitting there, we took another 50 and then it just went down and broke through 98. So I'm debating taking it again here on that move back up now through there one more time. But we've seen this go before, man. We've seen this come out. We'll see the imbalances as they're going to come out in about 4 minutes right now. And what we're talking about for the imbalances is these. The market on close order is going to be coming through right now. So those are coming out very, very soon. Buy or sell. Neil mentioned that it's the third Friday. I believe that was on Prad's show, their market movers. So we are expecting, I'm not going to show this now because it's misleading until we get the stats, but there could be some kind of an imbalance coming through, especially on Peloton. We believe it's today, right? That they come out of, you talked about this already, the NASDAQ 100. Is that confirmed, Prad? For today, Peloton?
No, it was today.
It's today. Oh, yeah, right. That's right. It's SSR today. Down 13%, or down up 13%, but down 20 whatever percent or more, whatever it was yesterday. Peloton down. So we'll see if that comes out. We are expecting a big sell order to come because, again, it's coming out of the NASDAQ. So we'll wait. It's not getting delisted. It's coming out of the NASDAQ 100. They've fallen below certain values, and then that's where it gets replaced. So Peloton's going to come out. There should be a liquidity event happening in about 2 minutes on Peloton. We are expecting it to come as a sell. So I think I'll put on a trade right now and just protect it against this 50 level, 60, 70, maybe up here at 70. We could be wrong on this and be fine, so it doesn't really matter. Let's put a short on right now against this 70 in case there is a monster sell coming for Peloton.
Yeah, and again, like you just, we'll see what happens. And we only 2 minutes to go. I mean, you could, I want to say like you almost could have like a bracket straddle and just sort of take a breakout. I'm not going to do it because I don't want to spoil a decent day here. But I am looking very, very closely at this one because if we're expecting a sell and it does come out a buy, and there's a big enough spike to the upside, I might look to fade it off at the top here. It is SSR, but you don't have to always punch short. If it comes out the wrong direction, there might be a chance to fade this. 90 seconds to go. Obviously, if you guys are interested in individual symbols at 350 and you don't have access to the imbalance locator, just try not to spam the chat, but let us know and we can definitely check. I'm not going to be in any trades unless it is a move in Peloton, so I should be pretty free.
Okay, so we're going to watch this with only a minute left to go here. We will wait to see what's going to happen on these imbalances. We're pretty light. We just have our SoFi trade on, which is 21 cents of the money, so we'll floss that off here. It's kind of crazy today, and I am flat on the day, actually. And it's amazing. I've had 500 fills. 500 fills today, and we are flat on the day. And I'm actually spending $70 in fees on that. So that's just absolutely insane. How many trades and how many fills. I mean, just right here on SoFi, this is ridiculous. Like, I don't know why I do this. I'm just like programmed to scalp all the time. So even right here is like 30 trades right there on SoFi. But it's just been such a sketchy kind of like manic market. Like I don't even know what to think anymore about this, but we are short right now, Peloton. We'll see if we get a flush. We'll put a bid down here, 27. If that does come out a big sell, which is going to happen in a couple seconds, then we should be able to get that bid out. So we'll do that. Here comes Peloton. Here comes the imbalance right now. We'll watch it. These are all 1 minute charts. So let's see where we go here on PTON as we get ready to show the imbalances in just a couple seconds. Okay, there it is. So now we're out right here. I don't even see. There it is. Peloton is a $1.3 million share. Sell. So it came out a sell. But what else? Intel a sell. That's not good. Uber a sell as well. That's probably not too great. But Apple a sell right there as well. So that's going. Look at this. A nice little move down on Apple as we go. Like we said, let's watch Uber. That's probably going to make a nice move to the downside. Yep, there it is right there. Uber falls about 10 cents as well. And then we'll just talk about Intel quickly as that's not loading. Yeah, Intel was it a sell? Yeah. So Intel goes from 40 down to 15 there. So Intel gaps down all the way down here on a big sell. So this is why we bring it to you. We've got the heat on that one. Peloton just spiked down and actually got a great fill down there, guys. I got 20s on Peloton. Yeah, that's a good now we're back down anyways.
Yeah, I mean, it gives you the fill. Now you have to wait for an uptick. So I have an order chasing it. So it has to give me. There we go. Like this thing, if you want to get into the stock, it actually had to, on that flush, it has to get an uptick. It finally did. I ended up getting 19s here. But either way, let's see what happens into the close. There's always a chance that it pairs off a little bit, so we're going to make sure we track it. I mean, Uber is a 1 million. That might be worth looking at as well. But as long as this holds as a sell imbalance.
No, it will pair off.
Yeah, it's going to pair off to some degree.
It's not that big.
Yeah,
so
it's not a gigantic one.
Oh, we don't have it.
And
okay.
it was expected to be a couple million shares, I thought.
Yeah, and if you look on here, it actually was a couple million shares, and that's already pairing off right now.
Yeah.
So you see, so the paired value, that's what PV means. Just if you're watching, we'll hold Peloton right here. So there, we just got out twice. What a good, I mean, honestly, guys, we talked about that. Like, I couldn't be happier right now with how this close has happened for you, and hopefully for all of us here today on this. I feel so bad for everybody long. I'm long in my account and getting clocked as well. But look at that. There goes Peloton. So you see how it's moving around? So that's 6.3 million shares plus 8 million. So the initial trade was roughly 7.5 or 7.3 million shares, but buyers came in and took out 6.5 of that, leaving 870. So that's how it works. And then you'll watch, this number will keep going down. There it is, now it's 819. So more and more people adding their shares into the imbalance for the close. That will pair off, and when it does, the stock will spike up. But your boy is honestly spinning this right now into the close.
Money.
Wow. We made a good amount of money here. We were down today, man. I mean, I showed you my losers. I talked about Disney. That sucked at the beginning. We had CRM, which is okay. And then the other bad trade that we had before was, I don't even know what it was. Disney was bad. As I look here, Neo maybe a little bit bad, but we made money back on everything else. So good day so far. We were negative on Peloton as well. That's a good trade right here, coming back into the downside. So, hey, we've already cashed out 60%, Neil. Let's see if it takes down 27.
Yeah, I mean, I took some out in front of this 27. There's some stacked bids. I don't know if you guys saw the level 2, but O2s has some shares there, and Evans has another stacked up bid, and then you have some like 26.98 on PhilX of all gateways. So like there's obviously people going to be looking to take some profit on the way down here, anticipating that it's going to pair off. So holding it into the actual closing print is probably not seeming like it's going to be a gigantic winner here. I don't even see it anymore on mine. It looks like it. I don't even see Peloton on mine, so it must have paired off pretty heavily there. Either way, I think taking some profit as it tries to churn through these levels does make some sense. The overall market, well, it tried to bounce, and that was a yeoman's effort. At one point, we got a nice little spike back up on both the NASDAQ and the ES, but it definitely short-lived. We're right back to over 2.5% to the downside, so even the market's helping this to the downside. Not going to happen here, closing anywhere off the lows, it looks like.
Yeah, come on, break yourself, fool. Yes, there we go. So now Peloton's going down. You know, you got that Borat, like the snap, like, the Ali G snap right there. As it touches 27 and then disappears. I'm going to bet that the imbalance is gone now. So we're almost out of this trade anyways. Yeah, it's not even, I don't even see Peloton on here. Oh, there it is. It's right here. So it's still here. It's still 500 to the downside, but it is getting very, very much paired off. So let's take a bid right now on Peloton. There's absolutely no point in waiting for this to get even lower. We'll see if it's coming back in. We're way there it is. So we'll just take another bid there on Peloton. Netflix is a nice little buy here. Ooh, Netflix took a nice little dump in the afternoon here, down to 390 again. Netflix on a buy. That should print nice actually into the close. So we'll see what happens with Netflix right now, bouncing around. If that stays, guys, that's big. Like, even though we've done 54 million, the level 2 can't hold 700,000 shares.
No,
so there's only 5 minutes left. And there it goes, it's gone. Oh no, it's still there, okay. This could be real interesting. It's already spiked it up from 350 down at 389. It's already ripped it up $4, $5. Look, now it's going here. Netflix, it's still there. It got bigger, I think. Was it just 500? No, maybe it was 600, but 644, a big time move here for Netflix. We still have Peloton and we still have SoFi. What's up, Bren?
Yeah, big bounce for a few names right now. Just to put it on the record, nothing huge as far as earnings for Monday. As per usual, guys, we'll get huge names, though, coming up next week, including Microsoft. They report next week, including Apple. There's Johnson & Johnson. There's 3M. There's Halliburton. Lots of energy names as well. So going to be a big week for earnings next week.
Microsoft, never heard of it. I don't know if there's any other names on there that I heard of or not, but who?
Who's big next week? Who, yeah.
Mike Jones.
Mike Jones.
Say who again?
Who?
Mike Jones. Okay, there. Okay, so.
No, next week is massive. Look, we're going to get like Apple, Tesla. It's just like, you're going to get some big boys, but the start was not fantastic. And you looked at what happened to Netflix, and the multiples are still pretty high. So there's still some danger and some blood in the water, I do find. I'm still watching Intel paired off. That was the only one left that had over $1 million in balance that was pretty big. And you can see this was not a bad trade. this was a bet, actually almost as good as Peloton. Like it gave you 20, 30 cent scalp trade, but it made a bottom and it's paired off, so it does bounce back here. Still selling going into the close, and that's, please don't go to 3%. Say it ain't so.
The market?
The NASDAQ went from 2.4 to like 2.75 in the last like couple of minutes.
Yeah, it does. Say it ain't so there as well. Okay, so we'll just have to look here. I'm just going to set up my keys. We may just take this into the close. A big shout out. Thank you so much for that super chat again. That means a lot. You guys see it at the top there. 17 grand. Very, very nice day for you, my friend. So that's a good one there. I don't think I even have a NASDAQ on order order. I don't think I have it. So we'll wait for that one. NASDAQ market on close. No, I don't have it out. Okay, so we'll just get this out on close then. I don't even have the order set up, and I'm not going to do it. Peloton right now. I'll just see where it goes right at the close, and then we'll see if it does flush again. But there it is right there. The short into that. Good trade for me there on Peloton, back down and in. And then the other trade that we were celebrating that we just got a piece out right now was SoFi right at 90. It broke back down below, but two nice bids, man, and a reload down there as well, saying SoFi not to the moon. It's down 8% today, but there goes SoFi. Thank you for such a great week. I'm almost out of voice here as I'm late today, man. I'm only like
Who's
2
doing
o'clock
bell today?
On the water. Probably Randy or Lucas or somebody can do the bell, or Ms. V. I know Prad's probably going to be watching a trade. We can have Tony.
You see what happened to AMC?
Tony, come do the bell, man, in 2 minutes.
Did you see how fast he got it? I hope you guys saw over the shoulder. Tony moved like, he's quick, man, out of the blocks like Usain Bolt, although he's not very
Yeah, but
good
if
at
Tony
the
had a
block.
watch, he would know that. I mean, he's sitting right in front of a computer. There's still 2.5 minutes. Yeah.
Wait, he didn't know he was on the bell until you just said it.
I know. We're just playing around.
You did a great job, by the way, in the midday on the market movers with Trader Prad. And I should point out, like, if quickly with only 2 minutes left, stop out on AMC. AMC did flush into VWAP. That was crazy. Look at the volume spike. So I got out of that one a little bit too early. But hey, you got to have an out. You got to make sure you take it there. 2 minutes to go. He's going to be on the bell. At some point, I think that's what's going to happen. It's been a rough week overall for the market, but great trading week in terms of volatility. So I can't complain in that regard.
I wish I got paid for like how many trades I made, not just the net at the end of the day. Okay, so yeah, thank you guys so much. Game picks. Okay, yeah, let's do some game picks right now. We can find this.
With my heart, baby.
Yeah, I you know what? I think the Bills is like it's only 1.5.
It's
pretty
tight.
much a pick'em game there. And the thing about
know what's gonna happen,
why I
baby.
like the Bills in that game is because they lost last year in Kansas City. So I think it's
happening.
I think it's a big revenge game. They learned a lot, and they're a lot older. And I remember Stephon Diggs stayed back to watch the ceremonies, and he's going to be a man on a mission. So watch out for Stephon Diggs, guaranteed. I would definitely bet him on a touchdown. I already have Adams touchdown. I have Lazard touchdown, both plus money. Adams is minus 110, Lazard's plus 250.
I'm saying the same guy I said last time for the two guys I said for the Bills last time to score. I told you guys it'd be Sanders and Davis. And look, not Sanders. No, I said Singletary and Davis. Singletary scored twice, and Davis got a TD. Singletary, go back to that well. He's definitely running at least one in.
Yeah, he's got a touchdown like in the last 6 games or something.
He's playing on fire, man. Singletary's been on fire.
And then it's Bucks Rams. I actually like the Rams in that game, but I do know that the Bucks obviously have
What's up now, Tom Brady?
So I think that there's something there, but too many injuries. Okay, we're getting ready for the bell here in only 30 seconds. I don't even remember the other games: Kansas City, the Bills, the Packers.
Cincy, come on.
Oh, that's
you know I love Cincy.
You know what? It's been the first time in a long time since the three-headed monster's been together. Julio, A.J. Brown, and Henry. I think Tennessee gets it done, although I do have money on a teaser with Cincinnati. Okay, here we go with only 10 seconds to go. Let's get ready to rock and roll.
Tony,
we're waiting.
He's giving it.
There he is. Tony's ready to rock and roll.
Might need to lower the bell first,
3,
though. 2 and 1. You're going to have to jump.
1. Oh, he forgot to lower. There it is. Yeah, nice ups there. Tony hit that. Good job, Tony Tiger.
He showed off the hops. He did the Jordan jump man, and then the camera wasn't pulled back. I saw
it's
the
Randy
full.
doing the camera work, so.
That was like Superman punch. That
was a good move. Anyways, we did not get out there of Peloton on the print. I'll just show you guys the print. The print was absolutely huge. It was. Look, there's the print right here on Peloton, or on Peloton right now. Push it up so you can see it. Look at that. The one print. So it does happen at the close. An 8 million share print happens on Peloton right at the close. And we were waiting lower than this, but I can find it for you. Where is it? Here it is. Right here. 2706, guys. 8 million shares. Whoa, darn it, there it goes again. I just want to show it to you quickly before we go back over to Brendan. There it is right here. 8 million shares on close, right at 4 o'clock. There it is right there. Unfortunately, I can't stop trading this. 8 million shares right there on close for Peloton. So that does get done. We had the date right on this one, Brendo. How did we finish up?
Pretty red, obviously. My internet has packed it in for the week. Maybe it just doesn't want us to see how the market closed because it wasn't pretty. We did sell off a little bit there heading into the close, 1.94 for the ES. Everything else kind of in line with that. I mean, Ethereum almost 12%. What a week, guys. What a week.
Yeah, it's been wild. Yeah, almost 3% on the NASDAQ there. And I think 275 we closed down on the NASDAQ. But hey, look, good trades to be had. Peloton, look, actually, that worked out pretty much perfectly. But it's not tomorrow, it's Monday.
Yeah, well, whatever. I mean, tomorrow should be a good day. Spend it with your family, spend it with your loved ones. But there's always tomorrow.
Cheer on the Bills.
Amazon shares, I just see a note here, closed 23% below its 2021 peak. So Amazon right there, but only 20%, you know. Unfortunately, as an Amazon shareholder, it's not great, but we've seen what's happened with Rivian and everything like that as well. So Amazon really taking it on the chin right now, down 21%, but I think a lot of names are down there as well. I think next week's a positive week, so let's wait to see. Hopefully this is the bloodshed and sort of the watershed moment in the market. I mean, if big tech can't hold next week, then everything is a moot point, and we will see much, much lower. Okay, with that being said there, let's go over to Prad. Thank you so much. Oh, it's Ms. V. Did we say what's up to Prad yet? Let's say
maybe not. We didn't give
maybe
you
not there. How was that super chicken there, Prad? It was delicious. Okay, so have a good weekend, Prad. Thank you for everything you're doing for us as well. And thank you to Miss V there. As I see, of course, there's only one box that everyone should be focused on, and it wouldn't be the three of us, Neil.
Probably not. I'm still mad that I didn't get my French fry, but it's okay.
Yeah, you and Prad are going to have to talk about this one-on-one. Thank you to Randy, who was doing everything today. As far as you might have heard, kind of hard to see without the light there. Rob is such a camera hog that he puts on the lights. There you go. Thank you, Randy, as well. That people might be like, hey, was that Ice Cube? No, that's Randy sitting right there. So thank you to everybody. I'm super excited for the games this weekend. It should be a fun one. Thanks to Lucas. Thanks to Maggie. Thanks to everybody today. And Rob's, he'll be back on Monday, as far as I know. That should be a good one as well. Thank you to Tony, who added a lot. Honestly, it was great.
Tony.
I'm actually want to get Tony a segment now. So I think we should discuss. I'm being serious, man. Those stories that he told were pretty epic, man. He said he went to the doctors and he got diagnosed with paper hands. Like that was just
that was great.
I just
love
honestly.
It.
No, you had to go to a specialist to get diagnosed.
Yeah, it was a special, exactly. So like, wow, Tony is just like killing it. We're gonna try to like protect our jobs here because Tony is in the building. Anyways, have a great weekend, guys. For all of us at Trader TV Live, it's been a fun week. It's going to be an even better one next week, and we'll see you at 8:30 on Monday.
Go Bills. That's it.